Welcome to 3 in 3. 3 key facts in 3 minutes or less on the topics you care about most. Taxes. Key fact number 1. Hauser's Law. The findings as the basis for Hauser's Law were first published by investment economist W. Kurt Hauser in 1993, which showed no matter what the tax rates have been, in post-war America, tax revenues have remained at about 19.5% of our GDP, with a surprisingly stable variability hovering between 16 and 20%, regardless of the tax rates. Key fact number 2, corporate tax numbers. Though we often hear that corporations in the United States need to begin paying their fair share, before Donald Trump's tax cuts went into effect in the United States had the highest corporate tax rate of any developed country in the world at 38.9%. And key fact number 3, the top earners pay nearly all of the taxes. Despite what you've heard regarding people paying their fair share and the wealthiest X%, the numbers are inescapable. The top 50% of earners in the United States pay 97% of all taxes. Again, the top 50% of earners in the United States pay 97% of all taxes. Add it all up, you get Hauser's Law, the corporate tax numbers, and those who pay taxes in this country in reality as opposed to what you've heard. This has been 3 in 3. I'm Steven Crowder. If you want to learn more, you can peruse the references for this specific show at 3keyfacts.com. Or tune in to the hour-long daily show, Louder with Crowder, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Rumble, YouTube, or right here anywhere you get your podcasts.
Can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
I can't stop the things I see, the things she does.
You make laugh.
Don't seem real.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets.
Grab my phone just to hear, calling donors, drinking beer. I wish you would disappear. I can smell bullshit from here. The bitch is cringy like no one else. This bitch is cringy, but I can't help myself. Can't wait till election's through. I'll be president, all thanks to you. This bitch is cringy like no one else. This bitch is cringy, and I think she needs help.
Barbecue sauce. Do not come. Space is exciting. Do not come.
This chick makes me winch and groan. Tell this broad, put down the phone.
We did it, Joe.
This bitch is cringy like no one else. This bitch is cringy, she needs professional help.
Join Mug Club today for $89 annually or try it mugless for $9 a month. You can sign up at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub for the entire catalog, including Nick DiPaolo, Bryan Kemp, Mr. Guns and Gear, and of course, Alex Jones, along with 100% more of this show. Boy, really glad to be with you the second night of the DNC convention. Hey, look, it's DL Hughley. You can go back through the archives if you're watching on YouTube and watch the proverbial sodomizing of him that took place on my program.
What?
Yeah, he came on for a debate. Of course, he was late. Surprise. And he didn't do very well. That was back when we were still talking about Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot.
Oh, yeah.
And he never came back on the show.
Why not?
Well, because I didn't think he was funny. But glad to be with you. Hey, tonight, you can join Mug Club. Use the promo code Comrade Kamala. You get $15 off. Just click that button right there.
Yeah.
My fever has gone up, so I am not particularly well. But we are looking forward to tonight quite a bit. Let's bring up, before anything else, the drinking game rules. We'll be live fact-checking tonight. You will take a drink anytime Kamala cackles, anytime, or anyone brings up vibes, hope, or joy.
Oh, boy.
Or implies it. Anytime you hear a Kamala-ism.
Oh, Lord, that's
I'll be the judge of that. Anytime Kamala promises to fix a problem that she could fix now, and you finish your drink anytime Kamala Harris claims one of Trump's policies as her own, like no taxes on tips.
My liver hates you.
Your liver loves the bottle, though.
But I'm going to have a great time getting there.
Yes, you will. So we have that and a whole lot. We have 7+1 jobs better suited for Kamala Harris. We also have Macho Man Randy Savage on later today. Oh. And you know what? Also, you can go and download 3 and 3, the podcast, 3 key facts, 3 irrefutable key facts in 3 minutes or less, anywhere you get your podcasts on topics that you care about. It's by no means meant to be an A to Z. It's a good place to start. I know, look, last night some of you were saying, hey, we want more fact-checking. But the important thing to remember is that yesterday, and we did a 4-hour show, every single person this entire week has not proposed any policy, has not actually contrasted anything that could be quantifiable. They have spoken and said nothing.
You got nothing, and if you were a man, you would have done it now.
And I know what you're thinking. Maybe some of the, like Tim Walz yesterday, when he said, mind your own damn business, that was something. But in fact, it was still nothing.
I have nothing.
And some of you, I know, are still saying, like, hey, couldn't you have fact-checked, some kind of policy or some proposal that would be horrible for America? And I hear you. Believe me, I hear you. That it is not falling on deaf ears. But I couldn't, again, because the theme has been that these people say, propose, and have offered nothing.
People have begun to lose their hopes and forget their dreams, so the nothing grows stronger.
When I grew up, I was afraid of that wolf being outside my bedroom window.
Yes.
Comment below. Were you afraid of that too?
Yes, of course.
And I was the only one who actually laughed when that horse died in the mud.
What? Atreyu?
No, Atreyu was not the horse, dummy. Gaza Strip, Utah, Wise Guys.
Wise Guys, West Jordan.
We were
Friday,
right last
September.
night.
We were
both right.
No,
Will you
no.
stop it? What are you, 11?
No, come on.
Jesus.
We were both right. Come on.
Come on, hey, damn it, the fight's out there, boys. Can't you see the fight's out there?
Not yet, it's not. We got time.
By the way, we can hear you guys partying out there, so keep it down, huh?
They're laughing at us.
And you can't fact check joy. Am I right?
No, well, especially not when you have none, which is pretty much everybody in this room. So we have a lot that we are going to be getting to tonight. I'm trying to think of how we lead this off. Well, I guess before anything else, let's first go to this broad who, what was she, an Empire or something? She was in a show. Let's see what she's saying right now. This is an actress wearing a doily.
We do this for working families who make this country thrive.
Like you work.
We do this for the planet and for each other. We do this for justice and for peace and for democracy. And as we are about to hear, we do this for the safety of our communities.
You know, it's funny, when I go to South Dallas or the black areas of town, I usually look around and say, the planet needs more of this.
Well, it's safe here, too.
You're coming out throwing haymakers.
I apologize.
A little bit.
I love that. Don't apologize. Turn it up.
Same thing for, hey, who's this turncoat?
Looks like me.
He's probably the guy who shot people with paintballs on Tim Walz's watch.
My job is to protect people. all people.
I don't trust a cop with Botox.
In 2020, righteous anger.
He's a Michigan cop.
Spilled over into the streets of
Howie
Flint,
Long
Michigan.
of
Righteous anger.
Chicago.
Hold on.
One bad decision from either side.
Righteous anger.
Like
There
your
would have been
barber?
bloodshed.
Have you seen this boy?
But that didn't happen. We laid down our riot gear and we embraced the community.
Oh, jeez.
And instead of hate, we chose
You
hope.
ended up with Detroit. Guys, look.
What?
I know you might be thinking we're the laughing stock because we're Detroit and 7 out of 10 murders go completely unsolved, but we kneeled to some blacks.
Was paved.
That counts for something.
Vision.
By the way, I think they chose Genesee County, Michigan, strategically because he's the sheriff responsible for Flint.
Oh, wonderful. Sure, listen, look. You know what they have a saying in Flint? Mm-hmm. Tap water's overrated.
We need
Hydration?
You shouldn't. There was a study that came out that said fluoride in the tap, that'll kill you.
That's right. I'm trying to keep you safe.
That'll kill you. So,
Alex
you know,
Jones
we
was
just
right
decided
again.
to skip the whole thing altogether.
Wow.
It's like, you know, the poison pill to make sure you don't drink from the tap.
God.
Killed a lot of blacks. Not gonna, you know, we're not proud of that, but, you know, sometimes you gotta crack a few black eggs.
Lick some
I'm
boots.
sorry, what?
I cannot believe that they are, and by the way, we can bring that up, that image of them laying down their riot gear before they were raped without mercy. If at some point, by the way, tonight you're watching this live fact check on YouTube, you may see this.
That means I'm talking.
Head on over to Rumble because,
It was his fault, yeah.
you know, we're not going to self-censor. So we don't need to listen to this. By the way, this guy right here is why I don't say back the blue. I say back some blue, but don't back the blue because you have cops like him.
How could you be law enforcement and be at this convention?
Listen.
They're incompatible.
Yeah, I mean, this guy said righteous anger in 2020 spilled out into the streets, and we did what? We had riot gear on. When do you put on riot gear?
Peaceful
When people
protester
were
gear, but
rioting.
yes.
No, not peaceful protest.
Peaceful protester gear, yes.
But he said it was riot gear.
Peaceful protester
He
gear,
didn't
though.
use the right terms.
If they're black, it's peaceful protester
So
gear.
you laid it down, and then what happened? The city burned. This is good. Like, so businesses can go, yeah, you're the pansies that laid down and kind of kissed the boots of these guys. Come
Even,
on.
like, one of the black seniors was like, oh, I think so. You might want to pick that up. He said, no, leave it down. Never fought good riots anyway.
This guy's gay too. I think he's gay.
You think he's gay?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
What gave it away? The village people like uniform?
I think it's, he's got a beige skirt on below the.
Not that there's anything wrong with
Look
that.
at these mamalukes.
Well, that brings us to actually, look, we are going to continue fact-checking live tonight, and you can use the hashtag, by the way, Comrade Kamala, and the promo code Comrade Kamala for $15 off Mug Club as we lead into election night, November 5th, 2024. I've been telling you that this is what they do. They did it with Joe Biden. I'm going to distill this. You'll say it's reductive. Yes, and we'll get into all of Kamala's policies, who she is, her flip-flops, what we expect tonight. But before that, the game plan from the left is lie to you until the lie is no longer tenable, then just cheat. Let me give you some examples. Lie to you about Joe Biden being fit as a fiddle, being in good health, until they realized the lie couldn't get him over past that finish line, so then they just cheat and they don't play by the rules. Lie to you about COVID coming from a wet market, about COVID going to kill 2 million Americans in 2 months, about lockdowns working, about teachers not going back to school for the health interests of the children and not the teachers' unions, about vaccine mandates. Lie to you, and then when it no longer works, just cheat and say, well, we didn't know. Yes, you did. Lie to you, allow Kamala Harris to not appear before the media. Is it day 29, day 30 at this point, to not give an official interview or press conference?
32.
32. Lie to you, lie to you, lie to you. And then, when she actually gets some airtime, and it will go badly, cheat. Cheat. That's the game plan. Lie until it no longer works. Not lie and have a crisis of conscience. Lie to you until it no longer works, and then cheat. And that is why we are preparing for the election live stream of the century, the Rumble on Rumble, November 5th, 2024. I fully plan on the left pulling a lot of foul play and cheating. That's why, with your support, when you join Mug Club, we are actually going to have the live electoral integrity map where you can go, you can see states. We will have the ability to call and dispute states because we will have more data than any news agency on legacy media that night. When you go there, something happens like a pipe bursting in Georgia or Bristol boards being posted over a precinct in Detroit. We will have boots on the ground in every major city: Milwaukee, Detroit, Phoenix, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and a volunteer army as well alongside them so that you can see in real time what is going on. Nothing happens in darkness. No more tricks. It's been an undertaking, millions of dollars in the works. And the more lies that I see, the worse I know the cheating is going to be. I have no doubt about it. But let's recap you before we continue with Rep. Lucy McBath. I don't know. I have no idea who that is, and I don't care.
We're talking about gun violence right now. So.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Are they? Okay, well, I guess let me listen to her really quickly so I can not care.
They showed Parkland and
Oh, here comes a montage, but they're late.
On December 14th, 2012, I walked into Sandy Hook School. I stopped at the office,
Is that droopy
chatted
face
with
Heather
my
Graham?
principal, then started my day with my second graders. Suddenly, a loud crash, like metal folding chairs falling. 154 gunshots blaring. Hiding in the coats, trying to sing with my students, trying to read to them, trying to drown out the
All right,
sounds.
she can shut up. Look, they're gonna have. She was one step away from saying a rose such a clatter. We get it. Of course, it's a tragedy. No one is saying that gun violence, whenever it takes place, violence of any kind is not a tragedy. What they won't tell you are the statistics. They won't tell you that 94 to 97% of mass shootings occur in gun-free zones. They won't tell you that firearms are used to defend lives far more often each year, according to the DOJ, according to the CDC. 500,000 to 3 million defensive uses of firearms each year. When compared to homicide, it's anywhere between 10 and 20,000 in a given year. They will not tell you about the statistics as to who is committing gun violence. If you actually take out certain demographics in this country, we have lower gun violence than Finland, than Sweden, than other countries. It's because we don't have a homogenous society and we have gang crime in this country. You are far more likely to die in your bathtub, in a car, and so are your children, or, by the way, from choking at school than from being shot. They won't give you the statistics. They never want to give you the statistics.
Yeah.
They want to. This is one of the few areas where they'll propose some policy, and again, it makes no sense. Oh, pistol grip? Can't have that. 10-round mag? Can't have that. We can't have that. And we'll get into Kamala Harris and her support of a mandatory gun buyback. That's a ban, by the way. But before that, let's recap everything that you've missed. Here, I believe we have the clip DNC Cringe Montage, and it's self-explanatory.
As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
To a childless
everything
cat
is.
lady?
Yikes.
Cut to the cat lady.
Me?
On behalf of the great state of Minnesota,
what's with the head?
She's half Indian.
Mrs. Michael J. Fox.
We can't let them do to America.
Well, she's not gonna
what they
take
did
it.
is.
to
Medusa.
Florida.
Democrats welcome weird.
This just came out. You're behind. You shouldn't.
Wait, I thought we were weird, right?
That's your source?
Mike Lindell's arguing with a child.
It's in your papers in Georgia.
You're an asshole.
Pry this wedding band from my cold, dead, gay hand.
Why would? But I thought you were a lesbian.
I'm revving up this crowd, but I'm certain I don't have to talk anybody out of voting for Donald Trump here.
Now let's cut to the chase.
I
I
did
am
not
too
have
old.
sex.
How many more of these I'll be able to come to?
He sounds like he's
Depending on
dying.
you to do, as Spike Lee would say, the right thing.
Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025.
Hey, Daniel Dale,
CNN got something right.
Where were you when CNN told the truth the first time?
I know. I swear to you, that
Like the
lady
Kennedy
looked,
assassination.
She looked like an SNL sketch person. Like there was a caricature of somebody who'd be on the DNC stage, not her.
Speaking of characters, I mean, they made fun of the RNC for bringing out Hulk Hogan.
They did.
And they brought out, is it Veruca Salt or is it Violet Beauregarde?
They haven't gotten back to me
They
yet.
haven't gotten back to you. Mission Control.
There was a bunch of other stuff that came in and it got kind of swamped.
All right, okay. Well, they had on earlier today, Elise Slotkin from Michigan spoke to the conference, and she was one of the Wonka girls. You guys can fact check me watching. I don't remember if she
Violet.
It's Violet.
She was Violet Beauregarde.
As the program continues, Alyssa Sklotkin, representative from the state of Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Let's listen in.
She came out like the after picture of Beauregarde in the blueberry outfit.
Alyssa Slotkin, I am honored to be your U.S. Senate nominee from the great state of Michigan.
It was very cringy. I mean, not as bad as Augustus Gloop's appearance earlier, which was ill-received.
Ooh.
Is the everlasting gobstopper made of Juden teeth?
9!
How is you?
Surrounding is the chocolates.
My chocolate, it's full of Jew.
How is you?
Sorry, I'm still sick.
You all right?
Overall, though, before we get to what's going on right here and we get to Kamala's policy, it was really just it was a cavalcade. It was a black parade of freaks.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into Chicago to see the DNC. He said, son, please don't throw up, but look upon all of the wokest, most freakish sights of man.
To make sure that we were in those corners of power.
Will we defeat them, these demons, the communist believers, and trends that they have made? Because some will, they hate it, and they will simply stop at nothing to burn this nation we have made.
You know, usually our parodies are pretty funny. That's the first time I saw that final cut. That might just be considered propaganda. I don't know if you watched that, but I got fired up like, oh, we gotta stop them. Demons.
Get pissed!
Right? Didn't you feel that? Didn't you feel something swell up in you?
I absolutely did. I think it's the vodka.
Hey. Poison from Chernobyl.
Sniffed the kid's head right after that, so we had to cut away.
And to let people know, of course, bring up in the lower third, we are going to be fact-checking this god-awful convention. But we do have an exclusive. Right now, Captain Morgan just let me know that we have a tip, and everything's been redacted, as I understand it.
Yeah, everything's been redacted. So this came in. Obviously, a lot of talk about Trump and RFK. They're holding a press conference tomorrow. I know Trump is going to be in Arizona. They're going to be in the same city. And so there's a lot of speculation on if RFK is going to endorse. Well, one of the Mug Club Army has basically, reached out to us. But let me set this up with what the Trump campaign put out, because it kind of sets the stage. President Trump will be joined by a special guest as he delivers remarks about his America First policies and his vision to lower inflation and the cost of living, secure the border, and make our city safe again. Okay, so he's reserved a spot for somebody. This tip that we received says, from one of the Mug Club Army, says, I am a blank in the Phoenix area. I do many corporate conferences and political press conferences. Today I got the call to do the blank for the RFK press conference. We redact some of those when I say blank. Press conference tomorrow. As a member of the Mug Club Army, I wanted to reach out with any info I may have. From the info I've been given, the announcement will be between 1 and 2 p.m. local time. There is an update, so that gets adjusted here in a second. He will be departing after. All indications point to him endorsing Trump and possibly moving to the Trump rally, as that rally starts at 4 p.m. local time. This is what I have now, but I'll get you more info as the day comes on. And this is the update that we got really just a little while ago that says RFK Jr. is actually set to speak at 11 a.m. local. I just did get word he will be going to the Trump rally after the press conference.
I had to change my time so it wouldn't interfere with my split day workout.
That's right. My voice is better in drier climates.
I get too wiped out when I do leg day.
Tell the difference?
A Kennedy going to a rally?
Yeah, well,
Boy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes.
I hear he's going to go in a limo that's an open top. I don't know why.
Yeah, with a helmet.
He's got double
anyway, that's
plexiglass.
unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed, but that means tomorrow at 11 p.m. Thank you, and you guys can join up at mugclubarmy.com. We appreciate your help. What do you expect tonight, Nick? Because yesterday, obviously, we were all getting very frustrated.
Yep.
And you said afterwards, I remember Nick walked out. He said, "You can't fact check emotion." And I was like,
true.
That's the perfect way to put it.
It is. Nice.
I do have a way with words, you motherless
do.
fucks. Now listen.
I noticed you waited until after we went off air to say it.
I was like,
No,
that's
I
perfect.
didn't.
Yeah, you did. I was like, that's perfect.
We were still rolling, I was told.
No, we're always
Well, you just heard it.
Yeah.
More of the same, only to the 10th power. When the dizzy bitch herself comes out, this is going to be priceless.
Yeah.
This is going to be priceless. I mean,
do you think she'll be talking about any specific policy?
Oh yes, she'll get right down to the farm tax bill. And are you kidding me? She'll be like, they're white, we're black and brown. That's it.
Why does it sound like Paul Lynde?
I don't know. I got she's. Who else? Dale Hughley was already on. Who I got to be honest with you. I met him on a set of Tough Crowd, and I liked him. We liked each other because he liked the way I was pushing the racial. And I watched him do funny dude. But then I look at him on X, and he is insanely.
He's a socialist.
Hardcore.
Yeah, he's a hardcore socialist.
So who else is on but Kamala stinks up the place?
They have
got Gretchen Whitmer.
We got Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh, that yeast infection.
Yep.
We have the most Adam Kinzinger.
Adam Kinzinger.
Oh,
okay, we'll be
girl.
ready for him.
A girl with nice boobies.
What's funny is it's like a completely tame, clean insult, but it cuts so much deeper.
I'm learning to do that more.
You know, a girl.
I know you guys have a lot of people love banjo music. I realize that. So.
Hey, look. Pink.
Look at Pink.
Wow.
She's working her traps, apparently.
Yes, exactly. She looks like Bane.
She's got a neck on her like Brian Urlacher.
So here's the part where she goes out. Here's the part where she goes out and sings a song to young women that you're perfect just the way you are, which no young man has ever heard ever, feminists, because we're told that in order to earn the love of a woman, because love for men is conditional, we better get our shit together. So, hey, if you're a woman, you can just get your fat triceps and have a faux hawk.
I love the fact she's called Pink and she's got a dick. It's really a paradox.
Allegedly.
Alleged my ass. She makes
her nickname in high school
Michelle Obama look like a newborn.
True. Her nickname in college was Nathan.
Is that a boy or a girl to the left?
I don't know.
You know what? They really do a good job of confusing you.
I know.
You have no idea.
That's exactly what that's about.
I don't know, but that child is dead inside.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be a perfect Peter Pan back when they had... Let's. Do you have the clip? Here's one thing we did predict yesterday because we went again.
I want to make out with that boy
the entire night, and it was very difficult to fact check. Nothing. It was very difficult to fact check when there is nothing being spoken. That's all we had to deal with yesterday. He was a coach. Hey, isn't that great? Hey, hope. Hey, joy. Hey, vibes. Nothing.
Nothing
is what was spoken yesterday. So we made the prediction that, and I think some of you on Mug Club may have made some bets. Well, do you have it? Let's just play what we said yesterday, and I stand by it. I think Kamala Harris, if I'm predicting it, if you can believe it, will propose less in policies. How many people here want to bet she will not talk about the increase in unrealized capital gains taxes? That's at the end of the night when I sounded like Harvey Fierstein.
I didn't raise my hand, but I do support.
I just want to be loved. Is that so wrong? Look, I'm still here for you. I haven't taken a 60-day in 34 years.
What song trilogy? Actually pretty good.
Let's go through this. So let's go through who Kamala Harris is.
Douche.
Okay, because this is important. We'll get to the very specific proposed policies that she's given, and I don't think she's going to get into them tonight because they are wildly unpopular. The fear of the unknown is worse than the known until the known is worse. Like I talked about this yesterday. Fear of the unknown is terrible until I broke my femur, shattered my kneecap, and I was like, well, actually, that's worse. That's worse than my worst case scenario. I thought I'd sprain an ankle. So with Kamala Harris, she was saying the fear of the unknown. I better get out there and answer a question. She did it once. It went so badly, she went right back into hiding. So understand that, because before we get into the very, very thin amount of policy, you need to see it through the prism of who Kamala Harris really is. Kamala Harris is really, four things, okay? Number one, she's a radical leftist who, of course, enables criminality.
A big part of this conversation really is about reimagining how we do public safety in America.
Minneapolis today, with its charred remnants of last night's rioting, the fury evident at every corner.
They're not going to stop. Mayor Jacob Fry says to understand what happened Thursday night,
they're not going to stop.
You need to go back 24 hours.
They're not. This is a movement, I'm telling you.
To the looting and protests in the area the night before.
They're not going to stop.
People are laughing. Some people are videotaping.
Because they're not going to stop.
Just threw something on fire, Chris, a firecracker.
They're not going to stop.
It's on fire. Oh, no.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
And of course, remember, she supported a fund to bail out rioters in Minnesota, some of whom went right on to commit violent crimes again. And Noodles, let me know. I think they had some fact checks, so whatever they have that comes in really quickly, just feed it right to me, because I know that there's a lot of BS going on here. Here's something else that you need to know about Kamala Harris. So number one, she's a radical leftist who supports crime. That's sort of the Americanized version. Internationally, Kamala Harris, if you look at what she actually believes, and you look at GovTrack, this is why she was rated the most liberal senator in the United States, including Bernie Sanders. She's an actual communist. And what I mean by that is she believes that the government should mandate and enforce outcomes.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. And economic justice, then, we know, is our collective commitment to equity. It's all about equity. And whether or not we are truly committed to the principles of equity in every way that we as government and as a society can enforce those important principles. Because I believe, as you all do, that addressing gender equity and equality is essential. Giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing. To put equity firmly at the center of our economic policy. The president, myself, the secretary, and everyone in our administration are so dedicated to a specific principle, which is that of equity. If we think that by giving everyone an equal amount, we're going to achieve equal outcomes, it doesn't take into account not everybody starts out on the same base. So we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. This is a fight that is a civil rights fight, a human rights fight. This is about equity. Equitable treatment means we...
No, he was a space guy.
Yeah, I know.
Space Shuttle Commander.
Yes.
Was he an actual commander, or did he appropriate the title? Is it stolen valor for space? I don't know if it's the same thing.
You notice when Kamala's talking about the tenets of socialism or communism, she never screws up.
Right.
No word salad.
Yeah, she doesn't need it. Yeah, she can go off
right on the money.
When we all... Is he gay? I didn't even know that. Who knew?
Take your semen pills and put your helmet on.
Somebody's been up right
I'm
all
sorry.
night.
Nice. So look,
just came to me.
Yeah, we do have some breaking information.
We
right
do.
Now. They think that there are some excerpts that have been leaked from
Kamala Harris's
tonight.
speech.
Yes.
Do we have a transcript? Does it read?
Oh, that's Waltz's.
Yes, that's Waltz.
Right? So here, pull that up really quickly. So there's a few things that are in here. Let me give you just 2 bullet points, and then I'm going to give you a follow-up. So one is we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025. So that boring old line.
No, not a boring old line. The lie.
Yes.
It's a lie to the American public.
But it's a boring old line there. They've like every single one of these people have said it.
But they want to repeat the lie enough, and then they accuse Donald Trump of lying. It is a lie. It's a flat-out lie. Even CNN had to say it was a lie.
They're very lazy. Even when Snopes debunk something, they come back with it an hour later.
Daniel had to come out and say that wasn't true. About
Biden came out and said that Donald Trump praised neo-Nazis as very fine people.
Right.
He said it this week.
I know. And they're like lazy. You have to be able to adjust on the fly when it comes to life.
Well, and then so here's point number 2. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled he would be immune from criminal prosecution. That's actually not true. We have the fact check here. SCOTUS did not grant Trump immunity from any prosecution just for official acts.
As president.
They didn't give details on what those official
And by the way, they didn't give him that immunity. They recognized presidential immunity, which has already always existed.
Yes.
Otherwise, Barack Obama would be dead.
Right.
He would have faced the death penalty for all of the drone strikes. Okay, and by the way, I'm not saying that he should be. I'm saying that you need to be able to make executive decisions. The Supreme Court did not create a right. They recognize the right of presidential immunity. It's the same thing that these people say when they're talking about qualified immunity with police officers. No, it doesn't protect you from criminal acts. It protects you from civil litigation because someone high on PCP got smacked around when you pulled them over for a speeding ticket and they punched you in the balls. That's what it is. They lie about these things. There is no more they're ignorant. There is no more we have different views for America. They fundamentally want to view a non-America. They want to look out their front porch and see a place that is not the United States of America. That's the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is no common ground. You guys can comment if you agree. And I'm the guy who just changed my mind on black and white and the gray issues. But you know what? Hey, I'll talk with anyone. I'll let them know where I disagree. There's no virtue in finding common ground on a lie.
Yeah. So one of the other things is they're going to claim that Trump is the one who's divisive, right? Not the Democrats.
Ah, yes.
Yet, I think we have the clip here of this. I couldn't believe it when this happened. Biden said Trump and MAGA Republicans are a clear and present danger to democracy and did it with this background.
Has called Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans, quote, a clear and present danger to our democracy.
That's the Harris administration. We're just going to say Harris administration because we all know Biden was not running the show. He hasn't been doing much of running anything lately, including his own mouth. He absolutely looked like Stalinist, Hitler-esque. It was one of those things where you're like, who chose this background?
I thought Oliver Stone was directing it.
And but did you see? I think at that time, I can't remember if you remember.
Speaking of divisive, show me where you see this at Trump rallies. Just outside of the DNC, people were asking folks, drivers by, to honk to execute Trump. By the way, am I offended? No, but that's exactly what they claim Trump supporters were doing with their midget noose for Mike Pence.
Yeah.
On January 6th. It's just someone saying, like, I don't like him, execute him. I think it's stupid. I think it's immature. But they're the people. They're the party of divisive. And you can thank Barack Obama for that. Oh, we got Leon Panetta up here.
I know. They're still digging him up.
Yeah,
exactly. I've got a couple of other things.
And the biopic will be played by George Siegel.
I thought he was a good guy when Reagan was around.
You'll like this.
What?
So let me just set this up for you. And this is not part of this clip, but it involves Al Sharpton. So get ready. Apparently mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name as Representative May.
The bitch said she was 18 at the time.
Well, almost. That's
yes,
racist.
she did.
It's racist to mispronounce her name, but when this guy does it, I guess it's okay.
How do you mispronounce twat?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
Camel Light Harris. She cool.
Kamala.
She's like the Marlboro Man and a box of Chesterfields all rolled into one.
It's all right. I never said that.
I
never said that.
Let's look right now at Leon Panetta.
What I said was...
That's what our warriors do. That's what our warriors do. Our warriors need a tough, cool-headed commander-in-chief to defend our democracy from tyrants
I can't
and
wait until
terrorists.
RFK is the CIA director.
Kamala Harris.
Screw you, screw you, screw you. You killed half my family. Screw you. You guys are all fired.
Wasn't this guy kind of moderate?
I'm just going to inject you with the mRNA vaccine 25 times.
See what happens 28 days later.
I got a little happening in that too.
On the Senate Intelligence Committee and as vice president, she worked with more than 150 world leaders.
She looks good.
I thought they were going to say men.
Yeah.
She's looked our allies in the eye.
Well,
and
the
said,
one eye.
America has your back.
No, they're on hers.
Trump would abandon our allies and isolate America.
Wrong.
We tried that in the 1930s.
That's an outright lie.
It was
Hold on a
foolish
second. We
and
tried
dangerous.
it. We tried it for 4 years under Donald Trump, and we had no new foreign conflicts, by the way. And Russia didn't act up, and Iran didn't act up, and North Korea didn't act up. But you got mad because he actually spoke with them. Think about this for a second. Donald Trump is the first leader. Yes. I get it, to step across that stupid South Korea, North Korea line. You know what else he did? He said that Kim Jong-un was fat. Okay? He does both. He keeps them on their toes.
That's right. By the way, there's a difference between being isolationist and not doing anything in the rest of the world and not getting into new wars because you are good enough to keep yourself out of them and also kill the second person in command of a country when
do
you
you
get
notice
out of
these?
them.
Do you notice these people who are in positions where they're highly specialized? They're always. It's kind of like someone in IT who's always going to tell you have to solve something in this super thoroughly technical manner. You're like, why don't I just unplug it and plug it back in? Like, I guess you could do that, and it starts working.
Right.
This guy, every solution involves more foreign intervention. Just like with Anthony Fauci, every single solution involved more kickbacks to Big Pharma, involved more control to the CDC. They never tell you, hey, look, we get things wrong a whole lot. Hey, I'm Leon Panetta, and guess what? Have you guys seen what we've done internationally? You see the Iran deal? Not our best. You see what happened with Iraq? Okay, look, not our finest moment. Did Anthony Fauci ever say, sure, I said people could get AIDS through cereal boxes in the same house as their parents, and you know what? I screwed up. Turns out that it was only communicable in gay bathhouses, which I was attending all the time. Instead, they just tell you, no, it's the next thing. Give us more control. These people cannot tell you, hey, hold on a second. I no longer justify my job. They'll never tell you that. And we like to think because they work in the military, they're somehow altruistic. No, I'm sorry. The soldiers who sign up, the people who want to go out there and be Marines and fight for their country, that's a very different person from someone who's been a career military pencil pusher.
I would like to try isolationism.
Yes.
I would. I would like to try. You just say to the rest of the world, you need us still more than we need you for business purposes, right?
Yes.
We'll do business with you. That's it. That's where our right. I don't like that word. That's over the top.
No, stop it, really.
Look, now the guinea gets sensitive.
Yeah. By the way, under Donald Trump, NATO spent $50 billion more on their own defense. He was just making sure they spent money on their own defense. And also, one of the only countries out there that wanted us to actually have Donald Trump as president, the one that depends on us for defense, Taiwan.
Yeah.
In 2020, they
the one that
wanted
actually
Donald
matters.
Trump to be president.
Because look, when it comes to Taiwan, we still need their chips. Bet you can't hit just one.
Not those chips, Stephen.
That's not what Mark Messier said.
Whatever. By the way, really quickly, we do have.
Do you remember those?
Since we did have Kamala's name mispronounced, it's not the first time that this has happened to a good reverend. Tim, you have a Reverend Al Sharpton.
No, I don't.
Mother.
Yes, they know.
Yes,
I
they said they
told
dropped
you
it.
two to stop copying my shtick with the screwing up all the time.
Mr. O'Reilly, what a share was.
Noodles?
I don't have it.
It's pronounced
Thanks for
noodles.
confirming I had it before setting it up. That's how we do.
Well,
that's how we do things.
And then Noodles looked at you, and I'm like, nah, he's.
Gerald, you will make a god-awful lawyer because you ask nothing but questions you do not know the answer to.
Have more
Did you
wine.
want the code red?
Are you in fact a retard?
I know we have like a 6-minute montage. I just don't know if we want to. You know what? Let's just play some.
You don't want to laugh. You don't want to have a good time.
What do you mean? I'm talking about the montage of Kamala Harris.
No. I have Al Sharpton first. I want to have a good time first before I go
You've
to
seen
Kamala
this,
Harris
right? Him with the
mugs.
prompter, Al Sharpton?
Yeah.
Oh,
a long
yeah.
time ago, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Let's revisit it.
No,
Why
I know.
not?
I love black literature.
What?
No, do you have a montage of Al Sharpton screw-ups?
I do not. I just looked. I don't have it.
They will often say that one
Look at it later,
in
Gerald.
glass houses should not be throwing stones.
They
Who's
told
this?
me you had it.
Who's this guy?
I never said
Who's
that.
this
No,
chubby,
Have more wine, Gerald.
emasculated
Hey.
eunuch?
Rep Ruben Gallego?
Oh, that's
Is that the Arizona guy? Yeah.
They're
Going
really
against
bringing out
Kerry
Arizona because they're losing Latinos there
Gallego.
fast.
I think they said Gallego, no?
To be a Marine. Rah!
Rah. That's who you 70 get in the shower with him.
My mom raised us alone on a secretary's salary.
Because your dad
I
hated
slept
you
on
for
the
a reason,
floor. I worked every job I could.
including hand and
Meatpacking,
blow.
construction, making pizzas. I made it to Harvard with no money or connections.
What you do?
How'd you do it then?
Other kids were happy because they were at Harvard. I was happy because I finally had a mattress.
Wait a minute, it was bad J.D. Vance went to Yale.
Then I enlisted.
None
Fought
of them went
alongside
to
my
Yale.
brothers with
He's the,
Lima
that's the version of
325 in
J.D.
Iraq.
Vance's guy.
Yeah.
They called
It's like
us
Bizarro World Gay Vance.
but our luck
The background
ran
looks
out.
like green screened, right?
We
I
saw
kind of
some
like it,
deadliest
right? It's kind of like my show.
It looks like it's running red with the blood of the innocent.
You guys see my new set? You haven't seen it yet, have you?
No, is it like the gates of hell?
Fire and brimstone. You just kick somebody in there every once in a while.
We watch Nick DiPaolo show, then we burn.
No idea what you're talking about.
It's Adam Sandler in the Norm Macdonald film. We have a 6-minute
Another
montage of Kamala Harris. You know what? Here's the thing.
Do we have it? I'm just kidding.
Yes, you do have that. So I told you she's a radical leftist who supports crime. She's a communist. We know that. And here's something else that you really need to know about Kamala Harris, which will get us to the policy, is she is extremely unlikable. And she is very, very slow on her feet, which is why we've gone 32 days without a genuine interview. But believe your lying eyes and ears.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. And understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas?
Happy Kwanzaa from our family to yours.
How dare we?
I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas.
You know, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right?
That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
When it's intact, oh, it's so strong.
And when we talk about the children of the community, they are a children of the community.
There's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch. So strong in its nature and is very fragile. What can be unburdened by what has been. There is this wonderful word that has a great meaning, and it's called hypothesis.
I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles, and the work that we have begun is the work that is going to be ongoing.
But there will be no pride associated with the hypothesis, because after all, it was a hypothesis.
So I am committed to ensuring that we engage in an active way on the root causes, on addressing the cause and effect.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
I'm pointing to the direction of what I believe is the capital.
Today.
All right, that actually goes on for 6 minutes, but we decided
That's
too much.
Can't
you see he's had enough?
Small doses, Stephen.
Emotional damage.
My picture up in that one. Tim and I have reconciled, okay, during that clip.
Something came out from Donald Trump?
We do have a post from Donald Trump. This is like, he made, in a lot of people's opinion, a blunder by going after Bryan Kemp. It looks like maybe there's a little bit of love here. Let's see if we can bring it up on the screen big enough for Stephen to be able to read there.
Thank you to hashtag Bryan Kemp GA. That's how you say on social, Bryan Kemp, Georgia, for all your help and support in Georgia, where a win is so important to the success of our party and, more importantly, our country, right? That's what it is. It's our country. I look forward to working with you and your team and all of my friends in Georgia to help make America great again.
He did all caps. You're
Why,
right. No,
why
I
did
guess
you put
was
that
accurate.
out?
No, that's huge.
Because he's the governor of Georgia, and they've been sideways for a while.
No, I understand that, but why the timing now? Is he going to be there or what?
I don't know, but I know that Georgia is incredibly important for Donald
I
Trump
lived
to
there.
win.
I understand that.
And to go after a very popular governor in that state was a mistake. And
I know.
So doing this is him actually showing the rest of us that he does want to win and not just be right.
He did go after Kemp, but he went harder after Raffensperger, the secretary.
He definitely did. I'm talking about very, very quickly. Right now, we do, I think, have Whitmer coming up.
I only did it. Look, I only did it because people tell me that the devil went down there, and I'm not a fan of the devil, frankly not.
Right.
Let's see what Governor Whitmer has to say, who is the worst woman in the United States of America. Fake kidnapping plot, this woman. And the person who was involved with it tried to sting me, Jason Chambers. We've talked about him. Let's go.
Another waste of tits.
I'm Governor Gretchen Whitmer. In Lansing, they call me governor. But in Detroit, they call me Big
Whore.
Gretch.
Call you what? Big Gretch?
Big stretch.
Big stretch, exactly.
Donald Trump called me that woman from Michigan
You're lucky.
as an insult.
Yeah, dust your shoulders off like
Being a woman
just like
from
Eminem,
Michigan
who you tried
is
to imitate
a badge
yesterday.
of honor.
Don't do this.
Somebody gift that.
It's this big.
Like women across America, we just GSD. Get stuff done.
Well, that's because you have no GDP.
Yet men still run the planet.
At
It's
29,
unfucking real.
I joined the sandwich generation.
Stick that in your pipe, you witch.
Sandwiched between working and raising my newborn and caring for my mom, who was dying from brain cancer. It was hard, but not extraordinary. It's life. Those nights reminded me who I was fighting for.
I'm going to
People
continue
just
laughing at this
trying to
later,
make
but I
it.
want to hear the lies she tells.
Kamala Harris knows who she's fighting for, too.
Yeah, pimp.
She took care of her mom, who also battled
Yeah, with a pillow when she was asleep.
I
As
took care of your
president,
mom last week.
She'll
I'll
fight
tell
to
you.
lower the cost of health care and elder care for every family.
Well, that sounds nice. How are you going to do it?
Not just the
She's
college.
lived a life like ours. She knows us.
Did you sleep your way to the top
Trump
two?
doesn't know you at all.
You ain't bad looking.
You think he understands that when your car breaks down, you can't get to work? No.
How about the fact that people
His
couldn't get to
first
work because
word
you
was
shut down the
probably
entire state
chauffeur.
while you had your husband
On
call
a
the
boat.
local doc, and I know the guy who he asked to lower
You
it.
think he's ever had to take items out of the cart before checking out?
Have you?
Well, she takes items out of everyone
Hell,
else's
you
cart.
think he's ever been to a grocery store?
Have you?
That's what the chauffeur is for.
Oh, good one.
So
But
we now
Kamala
know the
Harris-
theme. Yesterday, they hate people who go to Yale,
Right.
and they hate successful people.
Right.
She is us.
She is us. What?
Look.
Do you say her name 3 times? Will your heart scream, "I am Legion"?
Oh,
What happened?
their feed cut out.
That's CNN's feed.
Yep, CNN's feed cut out.
That's probably because her tongue shot out like venom. They have it on a delay. Do we need to go to another feed?
Yeah, we're gonna search for another feed.
Yeah.
Is it us or is it CNN?
It's CNN.
No, it's CNN. Look,
All
the
right,
lower
guys.
third's still up.
We're going to go to another feed. Right now, Anderson Cooper is going, "Oh my God, it's defective!"
He stepped on a cord.
Probably because his boyfriend knocked the cord out.
Yeah, he was whipping his boyfriend with that cord. Let me unplug this.
Whoopsie.
Go to the Weather Channel. I'm very curious. We're missing Whitmer.
Oh, here you go. Right there.
Yeah.
ABC. And we'll go back to CNN.
What if
James Brown's there again tonight.
that man from Mar-a-Lago?
Mar-a-Lago?
That's racist, lady. It's Mar-a-Lago.
I know. In a crisis, We need someone strong enough to come up with a plan.
Yeah, like someone like you, where there was over 8,000 listed nursing home deaths because during COVID you sent young, sick patients into nursing homes in order to try and hide the deaths because you thought, you know what, the old people are going to die anyway.
Why wouldn't we choose the leader who's tough, tested, and a total badass?
By the way, you know the guy who was punching the guy in the face, the video that we saw? That guy got off. Charges dismissed.
Yeah, because it's Michigan.
Just recently.
Can you tell, though, she's not selling?
No, she's not.
Because women can't talk nice about other women, especially when it comes down to the presidency that they both want. She's faking it. She got a smile on her face.
Right.
There is no sincere juice behind this.
Is she done?
Oh, no. Bring them tits back.
Wow. If you'll excuse me, my stockings have to go roll up under a house.
Why are the Democrats the party of 15-minute speeches for the best people out there?
Because they realize
for everybody else.
The average American has the attention span of a retarded gnat. That's why.
I hope that when she walks at a bunch of trees, throw apples at her. Who's this?
That's Eva Longoria.
Is it?
Yeah, talk about a vapid oof.
Yeah.
Can we go back to CNN and see if they've got?
Yeah, let's see what CNN has to say. By the way, Governor Whitmer, she was, when people say, she's been still talking about this, that I was the subject of a kidnapping plot.
Oh, whatever.
12 FBI and other undercover agents tried to entrap 5 defendants. So it was 12 agents and 5 defendants, and the plan to kidnap came from the defendants. One of them was a guy named Jason Chambers, Jayson Chambers, and he actually, we knew him when we stung Antifa. He was the person to whom the evidence was handed over. Nothing happened with Antifa in Utah when they tried to stab Ben Shapiro with an ice pick, and he actually tried to sting us. He actually tried to offer me body armor that was not legal for civilian use because I was speaking at Lansing about COVID, the COVID death toll with Governor Whitmer. And he said, you know what, you should use this. This is better. I said, well, what'll happen if I get caught using that? He said, well, it's a felony. And I said, well, you know what, I'll just buy, at that point from Spartan Armor, I'll just use the stuff from a sponsor. It doesn't seem like your stuff is that much better anyway. If I would have done that, I would have been in jail from the same guy, FBI agent Jason Chambers, who was involved with the fake kidnapping plot, Governor Whitmer. Just so you know the kind of target that Donald Trump has on his back, that any of us who are making an impact have on our back. And please do consider supporting us because we're funded by viewers like you. Mug Club, click that button. Comrade Kamala, $15 off. Let's hear what Eva Longoria has to say. I'm just kidding.
What? I don't know what to do now. Are you serious?
Our success.
She does look good, though.
She always looks good, but she's not relevant anymore. She wasn't relevant when she was a hit.
Us to dream big too.
She is so West Coast
So let me
vapid.
tell you, in the Latino community, in our community, we have a saying.
We have a saying. Gringo should die.
Which means, yes.
We have a saying.
Yes, we can.
Get the leaf blower.
I'm here to tell you, yes, she can. So we're going to say, she se puede. So
Is she introducing Kamala Harris? Because here's one thing. No. Yesterday, Tim Walz went up, I believe, after 11 o'clock Eastern for 16 minutes. That's not what you do with a star. And the later they go up, the less faith the people have in them. Let me go through the proposals here, by the way.
Really quickly, can I just say one thing? That CNN brought this up last night, and they were saying, you don't have enough Hispanic people. And then today, Eva Longoria comes out. I didn't see her on the list earlier. I mean, was this a late addition?
I don't think so.
DNC?
I have no idea. They had Ana Navarro yesterday, but her whole entire speech was just, I used to be a Republican. Hey, Paolo, you still think I'm fat? Eat your heart out, you filthy wop.
She just repeated that over.
They're going to roll out Freddie Prinze Jr.'s corpse in a few minutes.
Aww.
Followed by Ricky Ricardo and... I'm off of the club, you whore.
So let me go through the actual policy proposals because there are not many from Kamala Harris, so that she won't be getting into these tonight. Okay, let's go through the worst one. She will not mention this tonight, the unrealized capital gains tax. So let me explain this to you.
That one
Did you buy a home? Yeah, and she says it'll only be on people making, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Adam Kinzinger, and I am proud to be in the trenches with you as part of this sometimes awkward alliance that we have to defend truth, defend democracy, and decency.
Really? Democracy? How many votes Kamala get during a primary, dummy?
When I was drawn to the party of Ronald Reagan, to his vision of a strong America, the shining city on a hill. I was a Republican for 12 years in Congress, and I still hold on to the label. I never thought I'd be here, but listen, you never thought you'd see me here, did you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
I've learned something about the
I thought I'd sooner see you in a Russian bathhouse, but yes.
You're politically confused, dude. You're like a transgender.
Yep.
Only you're politically confused.
The Democrats are as patriotic as us.
Really?
You are
really
a suck.
Even though they want open borders and amnesty for people who hate America.
They love this country.
By the way, this guy used to work, fact check me on this, he used to work with faith-based organizations. He came from a Christian background. How do you justify abortion all the way up until and including birth, no restrictions like Tim Walz and Kamala Harris want? Fact check me on that. He comes from the Christian background. He's so Christian that he can't vote for Donald Trump.
They replaced Kim Cheadle with Don Cheadle. You see?
Yes.
To defend American values at home and abroad as we conservatives have
You are
ever
abroad.
been. I was relieved to discover that because I've learned something about my party too. Something I couldn't
It's your party,
ignore.
you'll cry if you want to.
The Republican Party is no longer conservative.
Oh,
it
so
has
Kamala and
switched
you all
its
are.
allegiance
You are.
from the principles that gave it purpose to a man whose only purpose is himself. Donald Trump is a weak man pretending to be strong.
Says the guy with the tuck tail and run from his party because he couldn't win an election, so he shows up at the DNC so he can get a few book sales. And he's going to tell someone else that they're a weak man.
Talking about a guy who's they're trying to jail and shot once, but he's a weak man.
He's a perpetrator who can't stop playing the victim.
This is ringing
Whoa,
show.
whoa.
He puts on, listen, he puts on quite a show, but there is no real strength there. As a
He
conservative
plays the
and a
victim?
veteran,
He
I
was
believe
shot,
true strength
dummy, and he got
lies
up
in
and said,
defending
fight.
the vulnerable. It's in protecting your family. It's in standing up for our Constitution and our democracy. That is the soul
can't
of being
believe
a
what I'm fucking
conservative. It used to be the soul of being a Republican, but Donald Trump has suffocated the soul of the Republican Party.
How? So hold on a second. You want to raise us to the highest corporate tax rate in the industrialized world. You want to transition children, abortion up until and including birth, amnesty for any and all illegals. You want a $25,000 theft, down payment on a house. You want big bailouts for big banks, for big Wall Street. What else do we have? What else do we have?
Democracy was frayed by the events of January 6th, as Donald Trump's deceit and dishonor led to a siege on the United States Capitol. That day,
You know what's
I
so
stood
wrong about
witness
this?
to a
This guy,
profound
who's
sorrow.
former military, he knows what a siege
desecration
looks
of our
like.
sacred
And it's not a bunch
tradition
of people with
peaceful
face paint and
transition
funny hats being invited into the people's house.
He's not even get that good response, by the way.
No, he's not.
No, and he shouldn't.
Too weak to accept defeat.
Right, they see him as two-faced.
He thought the election was stolen, and he went out
How
without
can
a
a party
fight.
claim to be patriotic if it idolizes a man who tried to overthrow a free and fair election?
Oh, you.
What if it wasn't a free and fair election and people were not being represented by the folks they elected? It's almost like actually fighting that is the most American thing you could do.
Yes.
And it retreats. It equivocates. It nominates a man who is weirdly obsessed with Putin.
Boy, you
And his
fucking
running
old
mate-
news.
His running mate who said, quote, "I don't care what happens in Ukraine."
We don't.
We don't.
And
And he
nobody
wants to be
does.
vice president. Yeah. How can a
Hey,
party
don't you
claim
love
to be
that
conservative
the entire
when it
Democratic
tarnishes
convention now
gifts
loves foreign wars?
that our forebears
Code
fought
pink! Code pink!
Men like my
Ollie Ollie
grandfather
Oxenfree,
who served
bitches!
in World War II, who believed in a cause bigger than himself, and he risked his life for it behind enemy lines. To preserve American democracy, his generation found the courage to face down armies. Listen, all we're asked to do is to summon the courage to stand up to one weak man.
To stand up to him, he's been prosecuted and was shot. And you tried to keep him off the ballot through weaponizing the DOJ. I love how they always say he's the bully.
This is ringing so hollow. The people there are clapping. Nobody at home is buying this shit.
No.
Independents, people on the fence. Let me tell you, it's going to be a landslide of epic proportions.
By the way,
they're going to make it. They'll make a stink out of it legally. And try to make it look. Trust me.
Drink because he said democracy thing.
Yes. You got any pre-recorded bits we can pull up?
Bring
I'm
up
getting sick to my stomach.
Bring up the drinking game rules one more time for people who are just tuning in.
I know Kamala Harris shares my allegiance to the
How do you
rule of
call
law,
yourself a Republican?
the Constitution, and democracy.
Democracy.
And she is dedicated to upholding all three in service to our country.
She said the rioters
Whatever
should not stop.
policies we disagree on pale in comparison.
What about
with
rent
those
forgiveness that was
fundamental matters
unconstitutional?
of principle, of decency,
Student loan forgiveness?
and of fidelity to this nation.
She wants to uphold the Constitution, you think?
A fidelity to this nation.
Equity?
Listen,
Look, even Nancy Pelosi's like this, Dick.
fellow Republicans.
A fidelity to this nation. Walls has been in China a million times.
Yeah, 30
I
times.
suspect you belong here too. Because
They show the pirate. Arg. The only
democracy
woman of the house with a ticking pantsuit.
it's a living, breathing ideal that defines us as a nation.
No, that's a fetus.
It's the bedrock that separates us from tyranny.
Yabba dabba
And when that
douche.
foundation is fractured, we must all stand together, united, to strengthen it.
And again, what has he said? What has he said? People, the theme of the night is what? 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 Nothing. 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 Nothing.
No policy, no specifics.
Nothing.
For Kamala Harris. God bless you.
I hope you die in your sleep tonight.
Figuratively.
No.
That guy, you know I have an issue.
By the way, I love how they show him walking all the way out, so it's awkward. He doesn't exit stage right. He's just like, are they still have the camera on me?
That was
one of the Supremes.
I have no respect for people like Adam Kinzinger.
Thank you.
None whatsoever, because everything he said is protecting democracy, and this guy's a bad guy, and he had a coup on our government, and he didn't want to accept the results of an election, even though he said peacefully and patriotically, even though he said you should go home in peace and love, and we don't do this, and don't be violent, and even though he left office voluntarily, you human piece of crap. He is not the issue. People are not pledging allegiance to Trump. Trump has signified to them that it's okay to question power and it's okay to question institutions that we used to believe in. That's why they love him. He will not be president after 4 years.
You mean it's okay
when he wins,
it's
you
okay
jerk.
to question institutions like the Crown?
Yes. Absolutely. We're kind of founded on the ability to go, hey, leaders, we get to question you. How in
That's
the
also
world
why
do
we have
you
the
align
Second
with
Amendment, which
Kamala?
he's also against.
Yes. But by the way, they put
that's no
January
long-
6th, former committee member on January 6th. I knew that's what they were going to put
Yeah, he
up because
withheld
it gives-
footage, by the way.
Yes.
Withheld footage so that America, he said, we support
are in
rule
jail
of
because
law.
of him.
You put American taxpayers, law-abiding citizens, in jail for over a year.
I wish I could.
People who didn't even trespass, while Kamala Harris helped free violent criminals, including murderers. You guys can fact check that all you want. Let me go back to, because it's Kamala Harris's sister, who's the only person less qualified than Kamala Harris. So the policy, of course, unrealized capital gains. For people who don't realize it, you buy a house, did it appreciate $250,000? You owe $125,000, whether you sell it or not. That's what capital gains, unrealized
Or
capital
stock.
gains tax. Or stocks. You know, for example, if you have a 401k, they could come for any of that. Here's the reality. This has already been tried, in case you don't know. Now, to a much, much smaller level, Norway instituted a 1.1% wealth tax. 30 billionaires and multimillionaires left in 2022 alone. In Norway, they said, this is really screwed up.
Not so good.
I think we're going over to Luxembourg. Norway lost $500 million in tax revenue, or as Minnesota calls it after the riots, just, it's a rough day, but we've had worse. Here's another policy from Kamala Harris that she won't talk. Price controls, right? This is something that she's proposed because every policy that Kamala Harris has proposed is wildly unpopular. She wants to tell companies what they can and cannot charge for products, right? She basically wants to say, because the reason for that is so that you don't blame her because she's in office right now. She wants you to blame companies that all of a sudden they just decided to raise prices. Now, isn't that odd? Think about that for a second. All of a sudden, they just decided, you know what, we're going to raise prices today. And I believe, actually, we have a clip about this. This is actually, was this the clip price control fail?
Yeah, it's CNBC.
It's CNBC,
arguing amongst
where
themselves.
even there, her own representatives are getting pushback.
That
but
we
if you
address
look at
anti-competitive behavior
if you look
and
at
price
grocery
control,
stores,
obviously
the
she's
price
against.
margins are only 1-2%.
And Josh, you know that's not what caused the inflation. So, and for you to say it with a straight face, just it doesn't help your cause at all. You know.
No, but Joe, talking about. As a capitalist, I believe in competition and making sure that there's actual competition. You got states
why didn't the corporations raise? Why didn't the corporations gouge for 40 years? If that's what caused it, how did it suddenly happen? They learned how to gouge 3.5 years ago, and it went to 40-year highs on inflation. And when you talk about unifying, being where you are, you may be unifying intra-DNC, but I can guarantee you that what we're seeing in policies coming out are not unifying policies. And you must know that in terms of the populist.
But Joe,
they're not unifying to me. They're very divisive.
That was one of the...
I guess I get why Kamala doesn't do these things.
That's right. Yeah. I can't believe she sent me out here to talk to you guys. I thought it was an honor. That was one of the best ways to put it. Hold on. They haven't done this for the last 40 years. You're telling me that corporations just figured out 3.5 years ago how they could price gouge? It shows you so clearly it's crap.
Let's go to Kamala's sister really quickly, just like a fruit roll-up.
I can just see her smiling.
Oh, the annoying voice runs in the family. Can you imagine that family
She
dinner
is
table?
a pound.
Pass the roast beef. Shut up. I'm a vegetarian.
And then,
Stop
without
with your
missing a
virtue
beat,
signaling.
she say that's enough. You got work to do.
Oh, is that what you used, the black voice?
Laying on the black voice. What are you, the fucking maid from the Jeffersons?
All of us to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
You are the
To
phoniest
elect
people
a
I've ever
leader
seen in my life.
who sees the potential in each of us.
She better
a
hope
leader
a white
who cares
nanny
for all
banger.
of us.
I hope that their father at the table said, what we have here is a failure to communicate.
The next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Get that all black up in there.
Are they bringing her out?
No, not yet.
That's the beautiful daughter.
It's way too early for Kamala Harris, isn't it?
Sister's better looking.
You wouldn't think so. You wouldn't think it would be too early.
No, I think there's still more speakers to go.
Let's continue.
They're still vibing.
Yeah. Now we have to drink. You said vibing.
Okay, I haven't drank in a while.
Yeah.
Governor of North Carolina is coming up next.
That's the wrong ding.
Another
big ding.
Another swishy white guy.
Here we have a return from Carolina.
I'll have the boys regular.
Looks like he drank some moonshine.
The last guy standing between you and the moment we're all waiting for.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, who's the special guest that they were holding a spot?
It was this guy.
All week,
Prince's
heard
Court.
stories about my friend Kamala. I want to take you behind the scenes of one of them.
Careful.
2011 was a rough time for American homeowners.
By the way, let's go to that really quickly.
American homos.
Kamala Harris, they say, we're not going back to the past. So she wants to subsidize housing. She wants to offer $25,000 basically subsidy and assistance for first-time home buyers. You know who will pay for it? You, if you already own a home. And by the way, if there's unrealized capital gains, you'll have to pay for the increased value on that home. Here's the thing. She says we don't want to go back. The idea of giving people money or giving them handouts for homes that they cannot afford is exactly what created the 2008 crash, and the rhetoric before that was the exact same.
Which clip is it?
Clip loan montage.
Sorry.
We're attracting more capital into affordable housing and community development by strengthening the Community Reinvestment Act, expanding the network of community development financial institutions, making permanent mortgage revenue bonds and the low-income housing tax credit, and gaining greater commitments from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Today, while nearly 3/4 of all white Americans own their homes, less than half of all African Americans and Hispanic Americans are homeowners. A low-income family is qualified to buy a home, but comes up short on the down payment. The American Dream Down Payment Fund will help provide the needed funds.
Oh, how will they do that, George? Let's go back to this guy in North Carolina because the pandering is shameless. I'm here because Kamala needs to win this state and we don't like her.
Who never will settle for less. America, We got a lot of big fights ahead of us. And we've got one hell of a fighter ready to take them on.
Can't say fight. Remember, Fight Like Hell was a call to violence. Which, by the way, you can go buy the shirt, Fight Like Hell, at the crowdershop.com. But they said Fight Like Hell was a call to violence from Donald Trump. I've heard the word fight at least 15 times, the DNC.
Even if you don't agree with her on everything.
I agree with her on nothing.
Kamala Harris will fight
Actually,
for
since you mentioned this, we have
end.
some limited time shirt, communism collection at crowdershop.com. Bring it up, some new designs for Kamala Harris right there. Go to crowdershop.com right now and grab it. I like to just say no to communism. I like that one. Kamala sucks is good too, but it's a little bit, just plain.
Pissing off your communist neighbor is what we call good neighborlyism.
It's neighborliness to other people.
I'll come up with some slogans for your shirts after the show.
Thank you, Nick.
Anywhere in the world, wondering if America still has your back. Remember this.
And Kamala's on hers, more than a porn star with a mortgage.
For you. And when she fights, we win.
Kamala-ism.
Kamala-ism. When she fights, we win. Drink. We're going to need a new drink.
This guy's doing terrible, by the way.
Are we?
Why would he be the guy to introduce her? So
I'll tell you what.
He's the political equivalent of Gallagher's brother.
Here's my theory. It's like a comedy club. They put a weak one in front of the, because she's.
Yeah, they don't want to suck the air out of them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put somebody good in front of her, she's going to eat her own turd. They brought this mannequin out.
Stand up, Wisconsin. Stand up, Georgia. Stand up, Nevada.
Stand up, Kamala.
Stand up, Arizona.
Get off your back.
Stand up, America. Are we going to stand up?
What's this, a paraplegic convention?
Are we going to fight? Are we going to vote?
You stand up in the wheelchair. Yes, you.
Are we going to cheat?
You bet we are.
Shut up. Thank you, Andy Griffith.
He's walking off whistling.
Go fishing with Opie, you dink.
He'd be the one getting thrown in the river.
She grew up in a tight-knit neighborhood.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
A place where your neighbor would
in Jamaica.
Break out the violins.
Bangladesh.
Where your first grade teacher would show up at your law school graduation.
It's just a lack of real estate.
It's where Kamala Harris learned what it means to be in the middle class. Making every paycheck count.
And she vowed that she would sleep her way out of it.
That's right. Her about standing up for what's right and protecting the people.
All right, everybody. We need you to share, like, and let people know. We are going to live fact check this, guys. I just asked that you give me the floor. I'm going to work with Mission Control. Everything she says, any claim she makes, we are going to fact check in real time. And you can check all of the references. Link in the description for every single one. Again, I'm predicting a whole lot of nothing, but I hope she gives us something to work with.
Just tell me what you're going to do about it.
And since she was a young girl, Kamala Harris has been fighting for
She's like hoop earring.
The one she grew up with.
That is Kamala. She can't help herself from
You got that right.
standing up for people and standing up for
What
what
is
she
this
thinks
standing
is
up
right.
shit?
She has been that way our whole lives. Being a protector is what led her.
No, actually,
to
she
become
never
a
used
prosecutor.
protection.
Looking back now, I could say
Good
it
thing
was
she's
her
barren.
calling.
There she is, a Planned Parenthood.
Prosecutor. She went after predators who targeted women and children, and fraudsters who ripped off working families. And she put dangerous gang members and human traffickers behind bars.
We didn't have partnerships with DOJ or FBI.
Really,
or
human traffickers?
DEA
How about
or
you
any
put
of
the
those
human
law enforcement
traffickers
agencies.
who come across this border behind bars? Can you guys bring up, fact check the number, how many people are trafficked across the border this last year? I think it's 400-something thousand, if I'm not mistaken. And the left said that it was a QAnon conspiracy. We're supposed to believe that she's anti-human trafficking when she wants to give amnesty and she has an open border. You know, the first step in stopping human trafficking, it's really simple. A wall. A wall is just a good start. Not something you get banged against.
Ever try that, though? Pretty good.
It's not bad.
With the determination of a prosecutor, standing up for reproductive freedom.
Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
Yeah, that I can't use my hands to steal, that I can't use my hands to kill, can't use my feet to assault? What are you asking, you dumb bitch?
I can't even yell at you.
How many of you guys had to have a drill where you learned about how you need to hide in a closet or crouch in a corner in the event that
No, you were
there's
crouching under a
mass
desk.
shooter? Look at that. Look at that.
On the intelligence committee, she defended our nation against foreign adversaries. And in
When did she do
2020,
all this
she
shit?
made
I must have been
history.
sick.
is the first woman to be elected vice president of the United States. She cast the tie-breaking vote to deliver urgent relief to the American people during the pandemic. She beat Big Pharma to lower prescription drug costs and cap the cost of insulin.
No, she did not. Let's bring that fact check up. Donald Trump was the first president to lower the cost of prescription drugs, and he was the one who actually set the insulin cap. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris undid it so they could redo it. I need that fact check, guys.
Grow up in a world with fewer rights than our
She's taking credit for anything
because
Biden.
She's never been afraid to stand up to powerful interests.
Sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open.
Give me the
Sometimes
insulin
they
fact
won't.
check and the sex trafficking fact check. It's in a previous map.
Door down.
Kamala cackles.
Kamala cackles. Great.
That's not fair.
She's running for president, still fighting for families like the one she grew up with.
Our campaign is about saying we trust the people.
Oh my God!
We're
They just
saying
showed her side by side with a totally different accent and didn't even realize it. We're fighting here for families. We up in here listening to Tupac Shakur.
All of those ideals, but we will die trying because we love
Now
our
the accent's
country.
gone.
I hope it.
Can you see that?
Yeah, but she said she'll die trying. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Folks who are trying to divide us, trying to pull us apart. We
Full
know
steam
what
ahead.
we stand for, and we stand for the people, and we stand for the dignity of work.
How many times
and
have we heard
stand
stand?
for freedom?
I'm
We
s-
stand for justice. We stand for equality, and so we will fight for all of it.
We're not representing
Kamala
paraplegics.
Harris is. That's what she believes, and that's what she'll fight for every day.
I'm gonna keep on running from the media because I'm a bitch. All right, Kamala, let's do this.
Please welcome the Democratic nominee for president, Vice President of the United
We're
States
gonna
of
applaud
America,
for 10 minutes.
Kamala
That's why he's
Harris.
peeing and I'm gonna.
All right, here we go. Promo code Comrade Kamala, $15 off. None of this happens without you, Mug Club. We're ready to fact check. I don't know. I feel jacked up tonight. I feel ready.
Yeah.
I feel ready for this takedown.
We have the insulin fact check if you want it.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me the insulin fact check really quickly. They claim that she's going to cap insulin. What's the fact check on that? Of course, Biden undid it so he could redo it. Bring it up.
Exactly. So let's see.
Here, I'll say it. So in May of 2020, Trump announced an insulin copay for 1,750 Medicare Part D prescription plans. Biden actually paused it, and instead he got rid of that and said, we're actually going to go to the companies and do this at $35 to take credit for it. So he basically did a little bit of a switcheroo.
Yep. Next thing you know, she'll say no tax on tips. Okay, let's go.
If she does say that, it's to finish your beer. Here's the drinking rules real quick.
Yep, drinking game rules. You have to drink anytime Kamala cackles. Anytime anyone brings up vibes, hope, or joy, you hear Kamala-ism. Anytime Kamala promises to fix a problem she could fix now. Finish your drink anytime she claims a Trump policy is her own. Let's go.
Good evening, everyone.
How about a dime bag falling out of her pants?
That happened with Pelosi, toilet paper. Do you see that?
Did I ever?
All right.
They're afraid to let her talk.
Good evening, everyone.
They know it's coming.
They're going, stay down!
Thank
They're afraid to let her talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
You thought Tulsi was tough? Trump will knock you in tomorrow, kid. And in America. Got a cauliflower on my hand anyway.
Oh my gosh, Tim Walz is gay.
Thank you.
Boy, is he is. He is fruit.
Thank you.
A fruit cup.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
He's the kind of guy who checks his nails like this. Okay, sorry. Fact check.
Thank you all.
They're afraid.
Thank you all. Okay, we got to get to some business.
Oh, look at the white broad crying.
Okay.
This is going to do so much for my white guilt.
Thank you.
Watch. She will not mention the unrealized capital gains tax.
This is overcompensation.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone.
Way to command the room.
Everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's get to business.
Go. Kamalaism drink.
All right.
Hit the ding.
So let me start by thanking my most incredible husband, Doug.
Gabriel O'Reilly.
For being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella.
And my gangbanger
happy
daughter.
Anniversary, Dougie. I love you so very much.
I kiss you with a mask on.
President Joe Biden. When I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I
so
love
inspiring.
You,
We forced you out, and I put a blow dryer in the
both.
bathtub.
Right now, Joe's at home throwing a full diaper at the TV.
And to Coach Tim Walz.
Coach.
That's what you're going to hear. That's a Kamalaism.
You
Drink.
are going to be an incredible vice president.
No, he's not.
To who?
And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign.
Just not the
your
voters.
Your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected.
Unacceptable.
But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So, my mother, our mother, Kamala Harris, had one of her own. And I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down smiling.
We're still in the nothing zone.
So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer.
I'm not going to get anything.
All right.
When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica.
Donald J. Harris, that's real.
They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me.
How long did Donald J. stick around?
What are they talking about?
Growing up, we moved a lot. I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go to Illinois.
Plymouth Rock didn't land on.
To Wisconsin. And wherever our parents' jobs took us. My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music.
Oh,
Aretha,
not with that laugh.
Coltrane and Miles. At the park, my mother would say, "Stay close." But my father would say, as he smiled,
I'm going
"Run,
to get cigarettes.
Kamala, run, don't be afraid, don't let anything stop you." From my earliest years, he taught me to be fearless. But the harmony between my parents did not last. When I was in elementary school, they split up. And it was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented
And by the way, that's no small thing.
apartment in the East Bay.
That's why she was a 29-year-old
In the Bay.
sleeping with a 60-year-old. Just to be clear.
In the Bay,
No dad. That's a statistical reality.
you either
That's a sad
live
thing.
in the
And I mean
hills
that. My heart goes out
or
to
the
her.
flatlands.
She was sleeping
We lived in the
around
flats.
because she had no dad in her life, but she won't talk about that statistic.
Working-class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers, all who tended their lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she
You weren't wrong,
leaned
Nick.
on a
Nothing.
trusted circle to help raise us.
It's going to be autobiographical.
Mrs. Shelton, who ran the daycare below us and became a second mother. Uncle Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood, and all of them family by love.
Is that something to be proud of?
Great. I'm voting for you because of what?
Family.
That's something to be proud of?
How to make gumbo, how to play chess.
Oh my God, she's embarrassing
and
herself.
sometimes even let us win.
Well, they always let you win if you ever won.
Us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and
She's the kind of broad who sets
anything.
the chess computer on easy and feels good about herself.
They instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated.
Like keeping inmates
With
beyond their sentence in
kindness,
California so you could use them as slave labor?
Respect and compassion.
Forcing out the president?
My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent.
Indian.
And as the eldest child,
Just say it.
I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health.
Bad driver.
And she taught Maya and me
Student
a
driver.
lesson that
Different.
Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice.
And how did your mom react when you came home saying, "Hey, Ma, what you think I'm doing down on the south side?" She would have said, "No, we don't talk like that. You are going to be an import-export coordinator."
Welcome, you curry.
She also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote.
You can't do anything half-assed, Kamala. You have no ass.
You really took that fucking philosophy to the wall,
immersed in the
protecting
ideals
our
of the
border.
Civil rights movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that
Before
we
you abandoned
learned
her.
about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley.
Oh yeah, everybody knows Constance.
Those who battled in the courtroom
Big fan of Constance.
to
Very
make
big in Sheboygan.
real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And when it came time to choose
Or a
the type
hooker, I did
of
both.
law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend Wanda.
This is leaked.
She had an
was
open
sad
sore on her
at
ass.
school.
Sexual
And there were
abuse.
times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right. And she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is
so
one
early
of the
on, you were
reasons
offering people help with someone else's money.
I became a prosecutor to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice.
Who
By the way-
doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was
Who
going to say.
doesn't,
She's saying,
you
I believe that rape is wrong. Oh, brilliant! Thank you.
Unbelievable.
You're breaking new ground there, Copernicus.
Really going out on that little branch.
Of the victim, but in the name of the people.
How about all the people
For a
who were
simple
raped and victimized by the folks who were
In
bailed
our
out from the fund you supported?
A harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
Really? What about a 9-month-old baby?
And I would often explain this to console survivors of crime, to remind them
Well, I
no
freed
one
the men who
should
were
be
committing
made
the
to fight
crimes.
alone. We are all in this together.
No, we're not. No, we are not. We are not all in this together.
And every
When
day,
you just said she was sexually assaulted.
in the
Are we in it
courtroom,
with the sexual assaulter?
I stood
We're
proudly
not. That's why you
before a
don't have
judge,
no cash bail,
and I said
sweetheart.
5
That's why you
words.
don't leave the borders open. We are not all in this together.
for
There's
the
evil in the world. It exists. You're part of it.
And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people.
Suckling at the
And
government
so,
teeth, have you?
On behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks. On behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out
not on behalf of the voters.
Their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
But no one voted for you for the nomination. You're not accepting it from the people. This is, again, just think about the cognitive dissonance. My only client has been the people who, when we're given the opportunity, gave me no votes statistically. Less than Dee Snider, who ran as a joke. I don't know.
And with this election, our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward.
A new way forward from yours right now? Drink! Drink! She's proposing a solution to the problem she could fix right now!
But as Americans. And let me say,
when was Trump president again?
I know there are people of various political views watching tonight. And I want you to know,
from the left to the extreme left,
to be a president for all Americans.
Shut the fuck up.
What about parents who don't want to put their kids on puberty blockers? Are you going to allow states to take them away? Are you going to allow states to take those kids away, like Tim Walz's state? How about those Americans?
From the rule of law to free and fair elections, to the peaceful transfer of power.
None of which do you support. The rule of law, you said the rioters shouldn't, they were not going to stop, nor should they stop.
I will be
free and fair elections.
Who unites us.
You weren't elected.
Around our highest aspirations. A president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of liberal.
Fights for the American people.
Common sense, like a mandatory gun ban.
To the White House, that has
letting
been
men beat up women in a boxing ring. Common sense.
As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up.
I bent over.
For women and children against predators who abuse them.
Nope, you freed them.
As Attorney General of California, I
in the
took
summer
on
of love.
The big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner bill of rights, one of the first of its kind.
Well, in her
nation.
defense, in Oakland, it's worked like a charm.
Yes, wonderful place.
I stood up.
That place is.
Think about this. You just had the governor of Michigan bragging about Detroit while she brags about Oakland. In Chicago.
For workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due.
The wages that went down under your administration.
That's right, the wages that went down $4,200 under your administration when they went up $4,000 under Trump's. Bring up the fact check just as an overlay when Mission Control sent it in.
Who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities.
How dare you?
10 million border crossings under your watch.
These fights were not easy. And neither were the elections.
Yep. By the way, drink anytime she just proposed a solution to her own problem and claims one of Trump's policies is her own. That's a finish your drink.
Underestimated at practically every turn. But we never gave up.
Overestimated.
Because the future is always worth fighting for.
Let's talk about the future. What are you going to go for?
But but here's the thing. The problem is you are the present, and you're proposing a future that's different from you now. That's like the ghost of Christmas Present in A Christmas Carol, saying you don't need to fear the specter the specter that precedes me. It's basically me in a robe.
Is not only the most important of our lives. It is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
Yes.
Earnings might go up by
if he does that, your wages might go up by $4,000 on average, and inflation might be around 2%.
Record low black unemployment, I believe.
No new conflicts in foreign affairs. Come on.
Of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes.
No.
When he failed,
wrong.
He sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol.
What?
Where they assaulted law enforcement officers.
Oh my God, they got nothing.
When politicians
they count on the stupidity of these people.
Begged him to call off the mob.
He released a video.
And send help. He did the opposite.
No, Nancy Pelosi was supposed to send help. She admitted it. We ran that clip yesterday. Bring that up. We'll have that ready. And Donald Trump called them to make their voices heard peacefully and patriotically. You are lying. This is a dishonest, evil woman. And by the way, it's not lost on me the irony that I'm using the kind of rhetoric that they used against Donald Trump, which led to his attempted assassination. It is not lost on me. These are evil, evil people. Not Nazis, evil people. These are the kinds of people who tell the Nazis, the Jews are in the attic. But that shouldn't surprise you because George Soros is one of their biggest backers.
If we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol.
You supported the bail fund that led to violent rapists and arsonists going back out in the streets. He wants people who were invited into the People's House, who've been in jail for trespassing, to serve the same kind of sentence as anyone else. Like me at Juice Land. I've been banned for a year. I can go back now, but I wouldn't because their juice sucks.
Consider.
Oh, it's so easy to poke holes in
he
this.
will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution.
Fact check, false.
Yep.
That's not true.
Nope.
No president is immune from criminal prosecution. There's presidential immunity.
No guardrails. Really?
And how?
You're in office. How'd that happen?
He would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States.
Like to prosecute a political opponent?
Not to improve
weaponizing
your
the DOJ?
life. Not
our lives
using the FBI to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story, or using the CDC to censor anyone who questions the COVID lockdowns like your administration? Just want to be clear. The danger?
Himself.
They are so cynical, man. It's grotesque.
1.9% inflation, lowest black unemployment, Hispanic women unemployment, and 0 wars, Donald Trump. Yes, I'll go back to that, please. Thank you very much. Also, I don't need $17,000 more as a family of 4. I'm a family of 5 now. A family of 4 just to maintain the same standard of living.
Pull our country back to the past.
That sounds pretty good.
We are not going back.
Kamala is good economies? No new wars? More freedoms?
We are not going back. Bring up the drinking game rules. We're not going back. We want to stay on the course. Here, it's very simple. We're not going back to 4 years ago. Vote for me to stay on the exact path that we're on. That's your choice, America.
Not going to work.
When insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions.
And not go bankrupt.
We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools.
Because our public schools
over
suck.
$2 trillion in costs and lower standardized test scores than when it was created in the 1970s. Fact check. Bring it up, guys. That's from 3 and 3. It should be easy to find.
America, we are not going back.
You're right. We're on the right course. Stay with you. The choice right now is stay with what we've got.
You're not going back to the White House.
We are charting a new way forward.
From the way that you have right now?
I think that's a Kamala.
That's a Kamalism drink. I need a refill.
Middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to
That's why you weakened it.
Success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
I was doing it when you were.
tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us.
Federal Department of Education has spent $2 trillion since its inception.
As she
scores
taught
have gone
us,
down.
Opportunity is not available to
all
everyone.
references available at loudofcolor.com. By the way, that's one of the 3 and 3 podcasts that's available wherever you get your podcasts. The Federal Department of Education. Very, very clear. We have 3 key facts on the Federal Department of Education: total spending and the standardized test scoring. I need a Halls.
You live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies
Yeah, because you know more about business than Trump
to
does.
grow our economy and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access
something
to
she could do now. That's a drink. I have to drink again.
Bring up the cost of groceries, the average cost of groceries for Americans. I believe it's up 30-something%, 20% if you use the conservative estimates.
Yep. Inflation up 20% since 2021 alone.
Yeah, but groceries is way higher.
It's way higher. Yeah.
Now compare that to Donald Trump.
Please do.
I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the middle class. He doesn't actually fight for the middle class.
No, he took a bullet for the middle class.
Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add...
Groceries are up 21%, mortgages 83%, gas 40%.
Don't believe that for a second. The groceries up 21%. Mission Control is bringing the wrong number.
To enact what in effect
it's probably up
is a
200%.
sales tax. Call it a
Just look at the
Trump
price of
tax
milk. Tell me that it's up 20%. Look at the price of eggs. Look at the price of beef. Not a single one is up lower than 40%, for God's sake.
Well, instead
Find
of
me a better number.
Tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
Except for the capital gains.
How are you paying for that?
Friends, I believe America cannot truly be prosperous unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives.
Like school choice, but you said the Federal Department of Education. How about what cars they drive? What, you want an increased tax on gas? How about where they invest? What, you want an unrealized capital gains? I just want to...
In America, too many
What choice? Oh, to kill babies at 9 months.
Those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom.
Drink.
And now,
anytime they bring up, we had that yesterday. I think we have it today. Anytime they bring up women's health.
Quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done it, end quote.
Eggs under Biden, 40%. Sugar 38, butter 30. Flour 38, sugar 30, butter 35.9, respectively.
Husbands and fathers.
The 20% grocery number is bullshit.
Stories of women miscarrying in a parking lot, developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because
Why, they read your autobiography?
are afraid they may go to jail for caring
They
for
show
their
the white
patients.
guy with the pubic hair beard.
Just trying to grow their family.
Miscarriage.
Cut off
That
in the middle
affects
of
me,
IVF
damn it.
treatments. Children
People
who have
sterilize
survived
that guy.
sexual assault,
Right.
potentially being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. This is what's happening
Donald
in
Trump
our
has said, bring up the
country.
clip repeatedly, that he
Because
believes in
of
exceptions for
Donald
rape,
Trump.
incest, and the life of the mother, and that it should go to the states. I don't even agree with it. You're not forcing a woman to carry a pregnancy to term. You're forbidding her from terminating it. But I'm an extremist. You can comment below. I'm open about my point of view. Donald Trump has said that he supports the exceptions that Reagan did.
And enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress.
Oh!
And get this.
Please, mission control, you have 30 seconds to bring up Donald Trump, the clip where he said he would not enact an abortion ban. 30 seconds. It should be the easiest thing to find in the world. You have to answer that question 25 damn times.
On women's miscarriages and abortion.
They say Donald Trump. Have you ever seen lying more blatant? Seriously, have you ever seen lying more blatant? Donald Trump's going to ban abortion? Watch. She will go Project 2025. She's going to bring up Project 2025. She's a compulsive liar. She's like the kid who told me he had a scooter when we were in junior high and he was 12 and you couldn't because it wasn't even legal. His name was Calvin. He was a compulsive liar.
Exactly is it?
I still remember it. He said he had a hoverboard.
Fucking Calvin.
All right,
The people who are
Trump abortion montage if you want it.
Bring it up really quickly.
We trust women.
Bring it up really quickly. Trump abortion montage.
That's for the women who never get pregnant.
Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom as President of the United States.
And by that, she means take it away from the states. She means make it a federal government issue. And you know how the federal government would handle it? Look at Tim Walz' state. She's never been a governor. She's inconsequential when she's not on her knees. Tim Walz has the zero exceptions abortion all the way up until and including the day of birth, and they have twice the national average of late-term abortions. Tell me which party is radical.
Here's the one we have about the 3 exceptions as well. They're having the montage right now.
Here's Donald Trump with the exceptions.
Who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to breathe clean air.
I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow you.
There you go. Back to Kamala.
This election, we finally have the opportunity to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the freedom.
And by the way, John Lewis and Congressman in Clyburn, they were the ones saying that people were spitting on them, screaming the N-word, and Andrew Breitbart, the man there on that blackboard, under whose tutelage I sat, said, I'll offer $100,000 to the United Negroes College Fund if you can send us any proof. We had proof that it never happened.
Right.
Race-baiting sons of bitches.
John Lewis.
Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans.
No, you didn't.
To write the strongest border bill in decades.
$10 billion for the border, $60 billion for Ukraine. I believe it ended up with 20 and 70 billion.
Yes. And by the way, the wall would only get constructed if they had excess funds.
If you have a meatloaf that's 20% human shit, that's whatever it is, 20 to 70. Give me the ratio there. That's what? That's about 28% human shit, and the remainder is meat. Would you eat the meatloaf? That was the border bill. And by the way, not $1 for a wall.
I know we can live up to our
Can you imagine having the gall to bring up the border?
as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system.
You were the border czar. Drink. It's a problem you could fix right now, border czar.
Pathway to citizenship and
That's like Mr. Christie saying, if you elect me, this country will finally be able to make cookies.
And America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As
Giving money to Ukraine.
I have confronted
Give me the border bill numbers.
to our security,
The Ukraine bill numbers.
negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas.
That's right, because war constantly breaks out under the watch of you, Biden, and Obama.
I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
Yeah, because that's what Democrats are known for.
Yeah, especially because you were the last person in the room when they discussed the Afghanistan withdrawal. We have a clip of that. We'll bring it up afterwards. We're gonna ombudsman this. Guys, be really good at cataloging it. Give us one paragraph at the end of it so we have all of it and gonna rattle through it. I'm feeling inspired tonight. Work with me. Every single thing she has said tonight is not a mistruth. It is a lie. And she knows it. She knows it.
My mother was 6'2", buddy.
Into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not
Tim Walz going, whoa, let's not get ahead of our skis on China here.
Trump, on the other hand,
I think he just gave her the finger.
threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies.
Bring it up for the fact check after her that Donald Trump was the first president to get people to spend close to 2% of their GDP on NATO. That was the agreement. They weren't doing it. We were footing the bill.
Russia attacked Ukraine.
Donald Trump was the first president in modern history to get those countries to start spending money to defend themselves.
I helped mobilize a global response over 50 countries to defend against Putin's aggression.
You did?
How's that working out?
As president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies.
How about making them pay their fair share?
Wall slumping in his seat?
No, I think it was Charles Xavier. Oh, Ben Stiller. Wonderful.
With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock.
But you wouldn't bring a Jew
around the clock. He goes to bed at 6.
To get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
Drink a problem she could solve right now.
Not done.
Compare that. One hostage deal right now with American hostages, by the way, to the 2 Abraham Accords under Donald Trump. Let's bring that fact check up afterwards. I want a list of all these.
Itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
Must be hard for her to say.
Including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time,
Here we come.
what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost.
So how many days should have Netanyahu hit back?
People fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking.
Hamas can end it tomorrow.
President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel
You unfroze $6 billion to Iran. Bring that up on the fact check.
Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
Look at these vapid.
Oh, look at Spike Lee. He's dressed like Jack Nicholson, the Joker, when he ruined the museum.
And know this.
Pelosi's twitching.
I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un.
You unfroze $6 billion for Iran. I believe it was the Ayatollah, I don't know if it was the Ayatollah, the Prime Minister, President of Iran, said that Donald Trump's sanctions cost them $1 trillion.
He is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors.
And money.
So why didn't Iran do it?
Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
$1 trillion in net cost to Iran because of Donald Trump's sanctions, dummy.
I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand, and I know where the United States belongs.
As the first unelected president in modern American history. Candidate, sorry.
You care about our security. Your border work doesn't say that.
I feel like Patrick Roth tonight. Nothing's getting past me.
That's right.
Fellow Americans.
I'm not one of them.
I love our country with all my heart.
No, you don't.
You mispronounced mouth.
Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, in everyone I meet,
who you are?
I see a nation that is ready to move forward.
Oh God!
Ready for the next
She's the vice president right now. She's basically the president.
It's America.
Move forward from her own work.
I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world.
A lot of broad platitudes.
That here,
no specifics,
in this
no
country,
details, how to do it.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, even a dumb bitch become a president.
Is out of reach.
Excuse me.
An America
that was accurate.
where we care for one another.
Fact check true.
Look out for one another and recognize that we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Not true. Not true. I have nothing in common with people who want to terminate babies at 9 months. I have nothing in common with people who want to take children away from their parents if they don't put them on puberty blockers. I have nothing in common with someone who believes that we should be spending $70 billion on wars in Ukraine. I have nothing in common with someone who believes in taxing you on money that you haven't made yet. I have nothing in common with this woman. We are not all in this together, just like you, a rape victim, are not in it with the rapist. It's such a stupid false platitude. If you believe it, you're dumb. I'm not calling all Democrat voters dumb. If you believe that line, you are dumb.
You are. America, let us show each other and the world who we are.
Show them now!
What we stand
Show them now!
for. Freedom, opportunity, compassion,
unless you're a white guy.
Dignity,
baby killing,
fairness, and
puberty
endless
blocker
possibilities.
And salad recipes.
Has she given one policy?
She hasn't come. She hasn't come close. She's not gonna.
Are the heirs.
She might not even be the nominee.
You meant airheads.
In the history of the world.
Research confirms zero policies.
At least we knew Biden was behind the
Seriously, I want a paragraph with bullet point everything I've written down. We'll hit it afterwards, rapid fire.
For our freedom.
I've got border, Israel, inflation, $6 billion frozen Iran, $1 trillion in cost.
Be worthy.
Probably about 6 more.
Moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done.
It's your turn now!
And faith to fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth. The privilege and pride of being an American.
If this woman wins the presidency, I'm getting my shotgun fitted with a tow trigger. I swear to God.
So let's get out there. Let's fight for it. Let's
Can't say
get
fight.
out there. Let's vote for it. And together,
You hate votes.
Let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told.
You are the current chapter. If it was a choose your own path book, it would be like, see page 4B to, it's Kamala. Go to next page, it's Kamala. Go to next page, it's Kamala. Wow.
Can you imagine?
Wow, how long was that? 32 minutes tops? Can you guys give me the number?
Oh God, it felt like 132. Gotta be 40.
It was Trump who went on for an hour and 45.
Can you imagine giving a speech, a month after your opponent got shot at, not even bringing it up?
No.
Like years ago. Seriously. And you know what I mean? We're talking about unifying this country, but you don't bring that up?
No. They're not going to bring that up. I'm not surprised at that at all. But look, let's go through a couple of things here. U.S. sanctions.
Hold on a second. Do we have everything? Because if we don't have everything...
I think we have most everything.
I was going to say, if we don't have everything, let's take a break so we can buy them some time. And then hit it with a fact check that's rock solid, because I can hit this thing in 2 minutes or less. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do
All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break. We're only able to do this because of the wonderful team out there in Mission Control, where we can fact check everything live. We're going to have a quick break. We'll hear 3 and 3 and a brief commercial. When we come back, 2 minutes or less, every single lie from that speech, kind of like CNN claims they do with Donald Trump. I'm rearing and ready. I am champing at the bit. It's not chomping.
Champing.
It's not. It's champing.
Champing.
It's champing. It's an equestrian term. Give us 2 minutes. Everything will be accomplished.
Welcome to 3 and 3. 3 key facts in 3 minutes or less on the topics you care about most. Gun crime. Key fact number 1. Higher gun ownership directly correlates with lower gun crime.
According to studies from both the Crime Prevention Research Center and Columbia University, 2% of all United States counties account for 56% of all murders, with nearly all high murder counties having a major city run by a Democrat mayor. The same can also be said of overall gun prevalence, with a study from Crime Research in the University of Chicago and John Lott showing that 94% of all mass shootings since 1950 have taken place in gun-free zones. Key fact number 2, the number of homicide deaths from firearms each year. According to the CDC, between 2018 and 2022, there's been an average of 17,673 firearm homicides each year. To put it in perspective, you are 20 to 25 times more likely to die from an accidental injury, fall, car crash, or poisoning than be murdered with a firearm. Key fact number 3, the number of defensive uses of firearms each year. In stark contrast to the firearm homicides annually, defensive firearm uses are far more prevalent. According to nationalacademics.org, almost all national surveys estimate an annual number of defensive uses of firearms ranging from approximately 500,000 to over 3 million. Furthermore, in 2021, Georgetown University performed the single most comprehensive study ever conducted on the issue and concluded that roughly 1.6 million defensive uses of firearms take place in the United States every year. 94% of mass shootings take place in gun-free zones, 17,000 firearm homicides per year versus 1.6 million defensive uses. This has been 3 and 3. I'm Steven Crowder. If you want to learn more, you can peruse the references for this specific show at 3keyfacts.com or tune in to the hour-long daily show Louder with Crowder weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Rumble, YouTube, or right here anywhere you get your podcasts.
And now for Barely Legal with Bill Richmond, sponsored by Mug Club.
Hi, I'm half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond for Louder with Crowder, here with some education and tips on the terms we use in the legal world. Our question today comes from Dan McGovern in that hellhole known as East St. Louis, Illinois. Dan's question is, what is the deal with the court names like Supreme Court, Circuit Court, District Court, and Justice Court? And who in the shit is in charge of who gets to be a judge in each one of those? Well, Dan, we're going to split this one up into 2 parts and deal first with the courts themselves. Most of you have heard about a Supreme Court, which is the final appellate courts in both our federal and state systems. At the very top in the federal system, above all the courts, is the United States Supreme Court. You can end up here whether you start in a state court or a federal court. It is the true court of last resort for judicial relief. Now, secondly, most states also have a Supreme Court that is the highest court in that state.
Stay tuned for more Barely Legal with half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond.
Hey, boo, Pedro, not today. You're not sending your best. I'm gonna send you right back. Looking over that. Well, let's keep building this wall. There you go, brick by brick. My wall, frankly, shoots fire, you see? And you're gonna pay for it. Here's Trump! Hey, guys, in the chat, let me know what you'd like me to put in my moat. I'm thinking alligators and spikes.
All right, guys, look, we're going to have a printout here. All the references are available at louderwithcrowder.com. Click that link in the description. I have never, that I can remember, been more pissed off at a speech. Now, I know a lot of it was platitudes, but that was not just platitudes. That was not obfuscation. Everything that could be fact-checked was a lie. Yeah, you got that? Thank you very much, Lane the Brain. And you've never heard me say this on air. Everything that she just said was a lie. Straight from the pit of hell when I say that. And I mean a goddamned lie. And I don't mean that using the Lord's name in vain. I mean, I hope that God damns every single policy proposal, every single suggestion, every single anti-God, anti-human, you were created in the image of God, idea, policy that was even mentioned there. I hope that an unholy firestorm is brought upon their head like heaping coals so that they regret ever toying with the Lord Almighty with what they've just done here. That was lying. This is a woman who has not seen an interview or a press conference in 32 days, and the moment that she had the opportunity to talk to you, she decided to lie to you about everything. That is certainly not democracy and absolutely not a constitutional republic, to be clear. That was take Barack Obama, take Joe Biden, take John Kerry, take Al Gore, roll it all up, and combine it with someone incompetent that the only tool at her disposal is to lie. And so that's what you're left with. That's what you're left with. And then are you mad? If you're mad, comment, hit a like wherever. If you're on Rumble, smash the Rumble button. If you're mad, you should be. And by the way, don't be told it's toxic masculinity. If you're a man right now and you're not mad as the head of your household, you're not a man. You're no man who should lead a family. This is someone who wants to lie to the American public so she can steal from you what you have created and tear under what God hath created. That's what we just saw. This is evil, evil stuff. You can share this out if you want to. All right. Let's get to a few key things here. Let's just get to her talking about people not being able to afford groceries that she's going to change, even though she's in office right now. Groceries in general are up at least 30%. Flour up 38.3%, sugar up 30.7%, butter up 35.9%, eggs up 40.9%, beef up 29%, chicken up 26%.
Jeez.
Show me one number that's below 20, but that's the number that they officially release.
Yeah.
Let's get to foreign policy, where she says she's going to stand with our allies in NATO. And by that, she means a giant bill giving them money, even though they have no business taking it. Donald Trump, under him, it was the first time that spending went to 2% for most nations. Before that, look at those numbers. A lot of people were spending, we don't have the before numbers, they were spending point something percent.
Only 4 nations met the 2%.
Only 4 nations met.
Yep.
4 out of 10. When she talks about Iran, she talks about what we're going to do with terrorism. The Biden administration unlocked $6 billion in funding with Iran, the largest funder of terrorism across the globe. And by the way, Iranian officials said that Donald Trump's sanctions cost them about $1 trillion plus. You may not know this, but as opposed to unfreezing $6 billion, as opposed to sending tens of billions of dollars to foreign nations to fight wars, what happened with Donald Trump were the Abraham Accords, the first peace accords that were signed in the Middle East in our lifetime. Just to be clear. Insulin, that's one that she brings up, talking about the price of insulin. This is just a lie because they want to take credit for something that Donald Trump did. Don't go back to the past, which we copied. Donald Trump announced in May 2020 a $35 insulin copay. And then Biden in 2021, February, decided to rescind that insulin policy. And then he announced in 2023, 2 years later, a $35 insulin policy pressuring 4 main insulin manufacturers. So he undid what Donald Trump did and then said, you know what, I'm going to redo it and claim credit for it. Income, when you talk about income of the middle class, you're talking about salaries that went up about $4,000 under Donald Trump's presidency, and salaries that went down an average of $4,200 under Biden-Harris's presidency. When you're talking about the border, by the way, you're talking about 300,000 unaccompanied minors in the United States in 2021, when she talks about fighting sex offenders, when she talks about fighting criminality, when she talks about us all being in this together, when she talks about, hey, everyone deserves to be safe. You've seen the skyrocketing crime rates. Have you seen that? The skyrocketing crime rates across the United States. We've given you those numbers. I'm sure we can bring them up again from Mission Control. They've gotten worse, and they've gotten so bad that they decided to no longer report it. When she talks about divisiveness, Donald Trump was shot because you guys called him Hitler. Let's be really clear about that. You want to talk about extremism? You want to increase the corporate tax rate to the highest in the industrialized world. You want to increase the capital gains rate, which, by the way, would affect every American with a retirement portfolio, to, I believe, 44.6% and unrealized capital gains. Donald Trump wants to decrease the corporate tax rate from 21% to 20%. When she says we're all in this together, Tim Walz is governor of the state that enacted abortions with 0 exceptions, meaning all the way up until the day that you actually gave birth. If you gave birth at 1 p.m., you could have aborted that baby in Minnesota at 12 p.m. Over 500 people last year did. 10 to 15,000 people per year do it.
By the way, Donald Trump is reacting live on Fox News audio. If you want to go to that, it's up to you completely.
We can go live to Fox News. Let's go see Donald Trump's reaction. I have more fact-checking to do, but we can go back to it.
Yeah, by the way, 44.6 is capital gains tax unrealized is 25%.
Yep, 44.6 and
NATO
25.
nations, there were a handful that were paying their 2%. Donald Trump was the first one to get 10 nations to pay minimum of 2%.
Yep. Bring up Donald Trump on Fox News. Let's hear what he has to say.
By the way, also murder in 2019 is, I don't know what the number is, but now it's up 28.7 over 2019. Assault up 9.5% over 2019. So all
and that's with reporting.
Crime going down. Yes, exactly. That's without, places like New York and other people reporting.
We got Trump.
There is not one area. Look, let me be really clear. The economy, crime, the border, sex trafficking, the middle class, manufacturing, freedom, education. There is not one area, mortgages, that are better off under a Harris-Biden administration than Donald Trump. Not one. You can maybe dislike that Donald Trump did it through actually enacting policies that enable more freedom. Fine. Be that as it may. You cannot argue with the results, the numbers, the data. It's irrefutable. Everything she just said was a lie, and she knows it. You've heard me on the show say, do not attribute to malice what you can attribute to ignorance. This is malice. We are living in a time of malice. That's a steal. They want to. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you believe that she brought down grocery prices, your vote was stolen. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you believe that she's actually going to get NATO to pay their fair share, your vote was stolen. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you believe that she's going to actually put sanctions on Iran, the world's biggest funder of terrorism, your vote was stolen. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you think she's going to unify this country, your vote was stolen. Why? Because you were lied to in order to get your vote. That's a steal. Think about it. If someone tells you, I'm selling you this car, and you buy it, and it is not the car that you were sold, that's theft. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why we've gone 32 days without a press conference or answering a legitimate question. Let's go to Donald Trump on Fox News.
A lot of other law enforcement, sir. It's really dangerous here. I think it's time to leave. You wouldn't believe the things that I saw at that border. She's the border czar. Now she wants to deny that, but she's the border czar. In any event, she was in charge of the border. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border so unsafe as this one. 20 million people have poured into our country, many of them from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylum, and record number of terrorists. And other countries are releasing their prisoners from their jails. They're emptying out their jails into the United States of America because of her incompetence and her bad border policies. She is a horrible, horrible person to run this country. We won't have a country if she gets elected.
Let me ask you this, sir. There has been a huge appeal and momentum for women voters. She's trying to pull the youth vote, the Hispanic vote, the black vote back in her direction. Polls show that she's having some success in that at this point. So what are you going to do? What's your strategy to rebuild the momentum that you had with those voters?
You already gained it back with Poly Market.
She's not having success. I'm having success. I'm doing great with the Hispanic voters. I'm doing great with black men. I'm doing great with women because women want safety. They want safety. And they don't have safety when they have somebody allowing 20 million people into our country, many of them very dangerous
That number's not far off based on our calculation.
Our estimate was 18.7 million, so he's close.
We're leading in most of the polls.
That's on top of the other 15 to 20 that are already there.
we're leading in almost every one of them.
Mr.
In
President, let me
Michigan,
interrupt.
The auto workers are voting
Oh, Mr. Called Arizona with 4% of the vote in. Go ahead.
She gets elected.
Mr.
They're going
President,
to all
9
electric
days before
cars.
anybody else.
All
I hate when they
electric
do
cars
this
are gonna
phone
be
shit.
made in China, and you're not going to have.
China.
You
They
literally
have a
will
time
not have.
block, so
Yeah.
he's
Auto
trying to rush
industry.
them.
The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed of themselves. They sold the workers down the tubes.
Two quick things as we wrap up
Fox,
here, Mr.
kill the
President.
mic.
Tomorrow, do you expect to be endorsed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? And
Already had our
are you
tipster
making
tell
a
us that he
specific
will be.
effort
Already
in
broke
Georgia
Watch,
to
Donald
make
Trump will
up,
be
if you
cryptic.
will,
That's what a lot of people are saying. I don't know.
Well, I just saw Brian on a very good man. Did you ever hear of a man named Sean Hannity? And he was interviewed by Sean Hannity, and he was very nice, and he said he wants Trump to win, and he's going to work with me 100%.
Bryan Kemp.
I think we're going to have a very good relationship with Bryan Kemp. And that was on just before you people went on with that speech that we just listened to.
And RFK
Jr. It just happened. And as far as RFK, I've had a great relationship with him over the years. I respect him. He respects me. I have no idea if he's going to endorse me. I know he's got a news conference. We happen to be in the same state. Arizona will be in the same state, but in quite different parts of the state. But it's possible we will be meeting tomorrow, and we'll be discussing it. He said, look, he was treated very unfairly by the Democrats. He would have beaten Joe Biden in a Democrat primary.
I think he's
no
right.
doubt about
I do
it.
too.
And they made
I
it
do too.
absolutely impossible for him. They made it that you have to get 60, 70% of the vote just to get in. And you know what?
President.
In the end, the Democrats did the same thing to Joe Biden. They threw
can't have a
Joe
phone
Biden
conversation.
out of the party.
You can't get him off.
They
That's why
did
we
the
saw a
same
different
thing
night
as they did to
tonight.
RFK.
Mr. President,
Thank you very much.
Hold on, I think I have call waiting. Oh, wait, it's me. Let me merge myself.
Our producer's in our ear. We gotta go.
Go back to CNN for this.
Go back to CNN.
Their reaction later, but I want to give you a few things really quickly.
A few more fact checks.
Mortgage under Biden increased 83%. The current rate 6.46 when Trump left office 2.6. What does that mean to you? $420,000 house today, if you're lucky enough to be able to find one. $2,800 monthly payment versus $1,692 under Trump. That is life changing.
Yes.
You cannot afford a house at that kind of rate.
Now, add on top of that,
1,100 more
unrealized capital gains.
On 25% of your unrealized. By the way, I have to kind of admonish me. Fox called it with 72% of the vote, but that was 12 days before. This is Arizona.
I said 6. I was exaggerating.
12 days before. Anyone else called it. It might as well have been 3. It didn't matter. 12 days go by before anybody else calls it. And they got sued. I guess 2 people got fired because of this. I don't know if they got sued. I think that just people got fired. I don't want to get admonished again. Don't admonish me. You enter the promo code.
At least this election will provide clarity. I'm not scared because Kamala Harris will win. I'm scared at the mere idea that someone like that could win.
Yes,
that's exactly right.
There are
That's
enough
why I keep
people in
going.
this
I
country
can't
to buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They rely on the stupidity.
We're going to live fact check CNN and their coverage thereafter. But first, actually, Josh has been missing. He hasn't been here the last couple of days.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Do we know where he is? Can we check in with Josh?
Yeah, I think I got him on a line.
Oh, can you call?
Yeah,
bring him on.
All right.
Where in the world is
Josh? Hey, Josh, we're actually missing you around here today. What's going on exactly?
Hey, Steven. Yeah, I'm at the mall. Sorry, I couldn't make it in tonight. I thought I'd be finished by now.
What? You be finished with what? You have your hand in a bucket there. I see a Patriot Supply.
It's hands on a hard body competition. It's like you put your hand on an item, and then the last person to take their hand off wins the prize. They used to do it with like cars or appliances and stuff like that.
Well, no, yeah. I understand the concept, but I don't understand why we're doing that when you can just get your own bucket at prepwithcrowder.com, and you get $300 off a 3-month supply.
Well, this one is free, so I'd rather just get one for free. You know?
Well, I guess that's a good point. Just send me a few buckets, I guess.
I guess.
Wait, hold on. Are you with Finnegan?
Oh,
What?
yeah. We figured we team up, double up our chances, and whoever wins can split the bucket 50-50 with the other guy.
Well, that makes sense. You're both idiots. All right.
Steven.
Toolman, you can just cut.
Yeah.
You can just cut this because I don't.
Where in the world is
Josh? Look, go to prepwithcrowder.com. You don't think you'll need this if Kamala Harris is president, and I'm not a doomsday prepper, but you should always have this. There's an earthquake, there's a hurricane, or a Kamala Harris presidency. Get $300 off on a 3-month food supply kit. Their pudding's pretty good.
Very good.
I should be more enthusiastic with this plug. They actually sent me a bunch of oatmeal, and I like their oatmeal. It's actually better than the Quaker Oats.
Is it?
But I got to tell you, I'm in a rotten mood. So
you're pissed. I want to see what this guy's saying on CNN. He usually does a good job. I hope he pushes back.
Country, maybe you don't put the people in charge who are already in the White House. I don't know who's going to win that race, but to me, between now and the debate on September 10th, that is the argument that's going to be had between these two juggernaut campaigns.
I think that Kamala Harris has done something. She's not just going to get away from Biden, which I think that she can do now, penalty-free. Penalty-free.
What?
And, she has this party behind her, but she's doing something. She's fixing some problems on the left. This whole thing has been an implicit critique of problems that we've had on the left. The left before we walked in here was about justice, diversity,
Speaking of cheeks, he
trigger
keeps spreading
warnings,
his for CNN.
reparations for the past, and a bunch of party poopers and scolds. That was the knock on the left. We have gone from talking about justice, which is wonderful, but now it's about freedom. It's not just about diversity, it's about patriotism. It's not just
when
about
has the
trigger
left ever
warnings.
cared
In fact,
about
that's
freedom
gone.
and patriotism?
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Reparations for the past? No. Fight for the future. Party poopers? No. We legalize fun. We legalize fun. We put the party back in the Democratic Party. And so this is a remolding of the genetic
Was that a
makeup
Kamala-ism,
of what
or is that a
movement
fix the
is.
problem she created?
These guys want to fight not just Biden in the past, they want to fight this sort of anti-woke war against a left that just died in here and something new just got born. The Kamala Harris Democrats are a different thing for you guys to fight.
I'm not sure the left is going to go down as easy as you think, but I agree with your chart, and I did want to pick up on one word that you wrote, and that's patriotism.
Yes, sir.
I do think that Republicans should pay attention to what happened in this hall tonight and the power of patriotism. It is a powerful thing. I made a snarky quip about it earlier, but what I was noticing was the American flags, the number of them, everybody had one. Towards the end of the speech, they had large American flags. There is something very symbolic about a waving American flag, the red, white, and blue, especially when you consider what we've seen out of the left on the streets of America and on the campuses of America over the last several months. You didn't really pick that up in the hall, but there is something interesting about it, and it was powerful.
I want to quickly go to Caitlin on the floor. Caitlin?
It's because you guys...
Let's go to Harry Forearms
I'm
Broad.
joined by two special guests here, Pete Buttigieg and his husband, Chasten Buttigieg. Great
Oh,
time
my
both of
gosh,
you.
they somehow
what
look
did you
gayer
make of Vice
tonight.
President Harris's speech tonight?
It was extraordinary. First of all, a clear and compelling account of who she is, why she
For the
cares
first
so
time, I
much
got an
about
erection
serving
for a
others,
woman.
protecting others, and keeping this country safe. She also prosecuted the case against Donald Trump very effectively, reminded Americans of the two very different futures in front of us under her leadership.
Economic prosperity
versus
or
going back.
servitude.
Guys, I'm going to tell you, if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, I don't know. I may just retire and go back to stand up.
Shit.
Because at that point, it's lost. This country is lost. If she wins, this country is lost. Honestly, at least we'll get clarity this election. None of this happens. Election night, we've burned the ships.
I think it's already lost.
Click the button and join Mug Club. You can use the promo code Comrade Kamala, $15 off. But if nothing else, we'll have some clarity. If Americans choose this, I don't know. I'll just go back to making people laugh because the points don't matter.
And instead of join Mug Club or you're a communist. Not just gay, but communist. Click the link in the description. Don't be a commie or a gay commie. That's worse, right?
10 good men in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we are at this point.
If she gets elected, it's not the American voters. It's 10 people that run the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bill Gates, whoever the fuck.
I know. But
we're taking our marching orders from the top.
Yep.
It's got nothing to do with the American voter. This country is way more to the right than the media would have you believe.
Of course.
And it's embarrassing.
Yeah, all the betting stuff, I think you're going to see that. And by the way, Chris Cuomo actually put out in the Trump War Room, retweeted it from News Nation.
Really? Was he not fondling his brother's nipple barbells?
He was, but he actually took a break from that, thank God. It's from Cuomo, it's not going to be satisfying to independent voters, what they heard tonight.
Right.
Oh, so great. What would I ever do without Chris Cuomo's insightful commentary?
When Cuomo does say something like that,
he's dumb.
He does it begrudgingly.
No, he's an idiot.
Of course he's an
idiot now
who
needs conservatives.
Idiot.
So he says, you know what? I'm calling balls and strikes. Really? Why didn't you have the spine to do that for, 9 years at CNN?
Course. But now that he's doing
Fuck you.
That's true.
Fuck you.
But
You're part of the reason that we're here in this country right now. And I want to act like you've somehow grown an altruistic backbone. Go fuck yourself, Chris Cuomo.
He should.
You didn't show up to our fight either. And you can't dunk a basketball.
We actually proved scientifically that was like a 9-foot rim, 8-foot rim.
8.
Like that. 8.
And that's being generous.
I want to hear Buttigieg. He's got a egg salad recipe.
Butt gig. Say it right.
Message that independents, reasonable Republicans, what I like to call
surrogate
future
salad
former
recipe.
Republicans,
There's
people
going to
where
be some
we
plowing
live in
this
Michigan
evening.
and all around the country can relate to.
The streets.
One
what are you
of the
talking
biggest
about?
applause
Mr.
lines
Plow.
was
That's
her
my
saying
name.
she supports
Remember that
peaceful
name?
means
It's
for
Mr.
empowerment.
Plow.
It's pretty remarkable that's an applause line in this day and age.
Yeah, and I think she wants to lead the way to where that is table stakes, where any Republican and any Democrat.
Look, let me just
would
tell you
begin
before we go to our
and
7+1 and then Mug Club, why you heard what you just heard. Kamala Harris is deathly afraid of the American public knowing who she is. People used to say that I think it was, I don't remember who, it was like Jib Jab back in the day who used to do political cartoons that John Kerry had more waffles than a house of pancakes was like one of their jokes back when comedians were kind of, taking it online and not doing actual comedy. But the point here is there's never been someone who's flip-flopped more than Kamala Harris. She doesn't actually believe in anything, but she would have communism if she could choose. As far as her policy, as far as her platform, she'll say whatever she needs to say. And that's why she's deathly afraid of having to answer questions from the media. So let me give you some then and now, and all the references are available, link in the description. Let me give you, for example, tonight what you hear may not be what you hear a month from now. Election is in 70-something days. You may hear an entirely different policy from Kamala Harris in 40 days. Let me make my case. So let's go back to then. Kamala Harris unequivocally, for example, supported a gun ban, mandatory gun buybacks.
What would you do about the millions of specifically assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
Well, there are approximately 5 million, to your point, Craig. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program. It's got to be smart.
What about the freedoms you just said?
But there are 5 million at least. Some estimate as many as 10 million. And we're going to have smart public policy that's about
by the way, but hold on a second. Is she saying there are 5 to maybe 10 million assault weapons? There are over 200 million by your definition. Hey, anyone out there have a Glock? Anyone out there have a Ruger? Or, thank God, a Walther? You have a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds? That's an assault weapon. It's the majority of firearms. I believe there's 400-something firearms, fact check, mission control, in the United States right now. 400 million-something firearms. She can't even get her bullshit right. It's not 5 to 10 million. It's over 200 million. But she doesn't want to say, we're going to ban over half of the guns in this country. She just told you she supported it. Okay. But now she no longer supports a gun ban or mandatory buyback. Because now she has Beyonce sing Freedom along with her slutty friends and their Illuminati triangles.
Holy crap, you're wrong. 500 million civilian firearms in the United States.
I guarantee you at least 250 of them are assault weapons.
It's got to be higher than that, yeah.
And they're in blue cities.
Dang.
Let's go to fracking. One of the greatest modern innovations that has allowed the United States, at least under Trump's administration, to become a net exporter of energy. I'm going to have to get very near the end of this now because I have SARS.
Are we all going to die?
Let's go back to then. Kamala Harris said that she was going to flat out ban fracking in 2020.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
Okay, well, no question.
Well, no question.
That makes it really queer. Makes it really queer. And I meant queer on purpose. No. Quite queer. Because it's gay.
Oh,
which brings us to now. There's no question, except now her campaign claims that she no longer supports banning fracking.
Wait, what? She was clear.
Oh.
Queer.
She said it was clear.
Yeah.
That's why I said it was queer.
Banning fracking.
It is queer.
Let's go to the the topic that all the liberals and libertarians love at the think tanks: marijuana. Back then, 2010, as Attorney General Harris opposed Prop 19 to legalize marijuana in California. She called it flawed public policy.
Oops.
Which, by the way, shows you how elitist she is, because she claimed that she was smoking weed while listening to Tupac and Snoop before they ever existed.
Well,
that brings us to now, where she's all in on the Mary Jane, saying that she smoked in college and listened to artists who didn't even exist.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in college,
I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
What were you listening to when you was high? What was on? What song was it?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, definitely Snoop. Tupac for sure.
Hey, I don't know if we had Mission Control put this together, but she accuses Donald Trump of being a misogynist. You ever listen to Snoop Dogg or Tupac? Do we have a
Snoop and Tupac.
So Donald Trump says, Kamalie, she slept her way. We don't know how she got her job, but we know at 29 she was dating Willie Brown, who was 60, which is weird. If you're 29, suckling on old, pendulous, wrinkly balls is weird. But that's just me, Mr. Traditional. So she calls Donald Trump and you, everyone here, a misogynist, but then talks about how she listens to Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Let's run a little bit of Snoop Dogg and Tupac so you can see if she actually believes what she says.
Do you look back at some of your old lyrics, given the climate of what's happening today with women's empowerment, and be like, damn, that was kind of up that I said that?
Nope, hell no, that was me. I love every motherfucking man, them hoes.
Man, if you with a cool female, that's all good. But if you with a bitch, you need to break her ass and shake her ass. That's how we got to do it in the 9-3. Bitch,
Oh, thanks for being clear, drama nerd Tupac. You can beat the pussy, you just can't grab women by it?
Apparently.
Let's go to cash bail, which is tough for Kamala Harris because she's trying to pander to black voters, even though she's not amongst them. Back then, as a prosecutor, she wasn't only not in favor of cash bail, she had some of the highest money bail amounts in the country, and she extended sentences that people had already served so that the state of California could use them as state-funded slave labor. Check the reference. Click that link. You can read it. I encourage you to, because I want an informed voting populace, as opposed to now. Well, she wants to end cash bail and completely reduce penalties for criminals.
Oh, come on.
And here she is, by the way, supporting the Freedom Fund for Minnesota. She said, if you're able to chip in now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. One of the beneficiaries of that fund committed murder 3 weeks later. While she talks about how we all deserve to feel safe. Can you give some more money to that rapist murderer, please? Can you give some more money, please? You deserve to feel safe. Everything that she said is a lie or evil. That's not hyperbole. This election, if nothing else, will provide some clarity.
Yeah.
You know what? I accept that. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, 35, 37 minutes, something like that. She spent a very large chunk of that time trying to tell you who she was.
That her mom was 5'2".
Yes, 5'2", and we made this, and we had to do all that. Like,
sorry, listen, I got the fucking papers.
I wish you would just give me some more of your policies and how you're going to enforce some of these things. And
well, it's
why, how about this? How about a section on why I haven't done any of this yet, right? You believe that Americans deserve freedom and prosperity and the ability to feel safe in their cities. How about all the illegals that have murdered people? I mean, we can at least start there, right? How about all the illegals who have committed crimes and then been let back out into our society?
Those are undocumented rapists.
Undocumented rapists. Well, future rapists, apparently.
And I think most women think rape is sexy.
Well, you're also E. Jean Carroll, so...
You're very interesting to talk to.
Thank you. Listen, I'm just saying, like, this doesn't make any sense to me for the American people to buy this. And so what I hope is that we don't see a bump and that RFK does his thing tomorrow, Trump does his thing tomorrow, and pushes whatever bump they would have gotten aside, and that we move on into debates where Donald Trump will absolutely destroy her on policy, and the American people get to see who she is, not... Here I am as a child.
Right.
Here I am as somebody serving as vice president, doing nothing for the country and saying, I'll do better next time. Please vote me in.
By the way, when just hearing those words out of your mouth, I just had a crisis of faith. Because, and I know I don't understand God's plan. So understand that. I get it. It's not lost on me. I am not the Almighty. But in my opinion, if there was justice in this world after blowing every mayor in Northern California, Kamala Harris should sound like RFK Jr.
A little bit.
And he should sound like Clark Gable. She should walk out of Willie Brown's office talking like this. It was a rough day. I had a tough day at work. I don't want to talk about it. Instead,
Michael Douglas, maybe? I don't know.
Well,
at least some mouth herpes.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. Come on.
You can
Took one from
you can thank Willie Brown for me talking like this. Don't do what I did.
By the way, I'm getting a little bit of crap from research. They said it was important about the coach thing. Whatever. I think they're going to keep calling him coach. Donald Trump tweeted out a few things.
Assistant coach. He wasn't even
Waltz was an assistant coach, not a coach. I can't do the voice. I'd give it to you if you can read it.
Is this the actual sequence?
Yes.
Waltz was an assistant coach, not a coach.
Not a head coach.
That is.
Wait 5 minutes. Where's Hunter? Sorry, I mispronounced Hunter.
Wow.
Can you say the last one?
I can't read it.
Too many thank yous.
Too rapidly said. What's up with her?
Too many thank yous. Too rapidly said. What's going on with her? I think it's syphilis brain. She needs an old English wig. I
By
think.
the way, this is Donald Trump. He didn't wait 5 minutes. That's 1 minute apart. That's 4 minutes old, 5 minutes old, and 6 minutes old. Are you kidding me? He's like, no, I've got another one.
Where's Hunter? Like, I take a break. No, I gotta ask. Why so many thank yous?
Sir, if you can just wait a few minutes, you're on Fox. I know, but I can speak to Fox and tweet.
We also got the clip of Kamala saying she's going to snatch patents from companies.
Ugh. Okay, go.
I will snatch their patent so that we will take over.
She's doing this now.
Look at the crazy eyes.
Yes, we can do that.
Look, listen, I understand it's confusing.
The question is, do you have the will to do it?
I understand it's confusing. What she meant to say is that she will put a patent on that horrible snatch.
Okay. I don't think that's actually what she said.
Off-brand.
Wow.
Generic snatch, they called her.
All right, look, this woman is not suited. She is not fit to be president of the United States, to be clear. And I don't mean fitted for a Trojan.
It's a good brand.
That brings us to this week's 7+1 jobs better suited for Kamala Harris. 7+1.
You forgot the fun in the chamber.
Funded by Mug Club. You can click that link below. It's the only reason we're allowed to do this and not be banned from the internet. We can be banned from YouTube, but we're still on Rumble. 7+1 jobs better suited for Kamala Harris.
Number 7, fashion designer of couture knee pads. They'll get a lot of use.
That's right.
Better deal.
Rent a beard.
Oh, look at that. That's not even a Photoshop. That's just her husband. It must be true. It's just her husband. He's just a beard. 7+1 jobs better suited for Kamala Harris than mine. Number 5, Gerald.
The new Aunt Viv.
Oh, I hated the original Aunt Viv.
Stiller.
Ben Stiller on CNN right now. Are they saying this?
Okay, let's see what he has to say, and then we're going to go to Mug Club.
Nomination at the DNC because she stole it from.
That's what I.
Is that?
I read that.
Is that why it's historic?
That's what I was asking up
Otherwise,
here.
it's run of the mill. We plugged whoever.
It's
in
historic because it was a coup and nobody said boo.
Yeah.
She's the vote burglar.
I think he's plugging Falkers 11.
The energy that's come about and in so fast. And I think it was a really tough time. I think everybody was kind of looking at, feeling that like maybe this wasn't going to go the way we'd want it to go. And by the president doing this incredible thing of stepping aside, which, no one ever does. And then how quickly Kamala Harris rose to the moment and how everybody
he was forced to walk the
and
plank or get keelhauled.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I wonder when people like Ben Stiller say that. I think he actually naive enough to buy this shit.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because he's an actor. You're not too bright.
Do you think he even knows what keel hauling is?
I don't think he does.
No.
Because your daughter's here, she doesn't want to be
I think only you and I do in this room.
Absolutely. Something to do with pirates, right?
It's where they run you on a rope underneath the ship as they rake you across the barnacles and they kill you.
Yeah.
Isn't that a horrible way to go?
My dad tried that.
Yeah, well, he had a good sense of
drinking
humor.
one night.
He liked to have a laugh.
It was a canoe.
Yeah. Well, it taught you a valuable life lesson.
It did. My back looked like Kunta Kinte. Who's the blonde bitch?
Yeah, what's happening?
You can hold that. There you go.
100% for me, just the thought.
Oh, he's clutching her a little too tight. Like, let's make it seem like we're affectionate.
He looks better than he used to. He looks better older.
2016 election, and when Hillary lost,
Who is that
my
chick?
heart was broken.
Why was that?
To hear her speak the other night, and
Apparently her heart was filled with heavy cream.
It's Fat Catfish Barbie.
So excited!
Filled
I
up
know
like a fat
all my friends are, and I know that
Good
we
night,
have
everybody.
hope. And I know
No, that's Tim Walz.
So you
I threw it in anyways. They're hooked at the hip.
I voted for Joe Biden.
I'm trying to do math quickly.
Yes.
It's not my
Oh,
strong
wow.
suit.
What a great track record you have. You voted for Joe Biden. They say it like a point of pride.
3 minutes, ma'am.
Very exciting for me.
Because my daughter is 16 and she doesn't really
Careful, Joe Biden might try and shower with her.
She's very smart. She's very brilliant, but she doesn't pay a lot of attention to like Washington politics.
Oh. How smart was the milkman?
Whole Kamala Harris brat thing. Like all of a sudden she got interested in politics. Is that a real thing among?
Yes, 100%.
Is that a real
I
thing,
think
Wide
that
Body?
Tapping into what people my age and women my age and girls want to hear.
Thanks for the time, Wide Ride. Back to the celebrity.
The sort of meme culture of it all, as
Diabetes,
silly
Drew
as it
Barrymore.
is, or you might underestimate it.
Yeah.
It's real.
I fully expect to lose my left eye.
For much more of our special coverage, we're getting reactions
they had
to
3
tonight's
minutes.
historic
They
acceptance
rushed
speech
them off.
from the Democratic
Why the
nominee for
hugging?
President Kamala Harris. We'll be right back. That was great. Thank you.
The pros for having.
What are you wearing, Old Spice?
Yeah.
That's what you asked for.
Canoe?
It's better than.
I feel
She's
like
not a
Nick needs
lesbian.
hug every once in a while. It'll soften him up.
All right. Look, we are gearing
Hasn't
up
worked in
again.
60 years.
The election live stream of the century. They lie. And tonight, I have never seen more lies at a convention than tonight. You guys can comment below if you disagree.
I'm worried about Kamala's safety if she gets she wins.
No, I'm not.
I am.
By the way, we do
Because
have
Tim
some
Walz is our fire insurance.
footage of protests, unless you guys already got to it, outside the DNC right now. If you want.
All right, let's show this
things
before we go.
Firing up just a little bit.
Is
Let's
this the
see.
last night of the convention?
It is.
That's not mine, right?
No, I got you.
Oh, this guy. That guy was at the January 6th.
What kind of rioters?
VG on the scene.
What kind of rioters wait to the last night to riot?
And why do they send out British truancy cops?
I know.
Hey, you better not be saying more. You better not be saying more bollocks about the Jews.
All right, you got a Trump voice for me?
I have my money in a certified deposit, and I'll be a fool if I let you risk it with your shenanigans.
We could always bring in the Mounties.
Yeezy was right about you all.
I need your Trump voice. You got it?
No, let's go.
She didn't mention China. She didn't mention fracking.
Exactly.
She didn't mention energy because she's low that. She didn't mention meaningfully Russia and Ukraine. She didn't mention the big subjects of the day. She didn't, folks. That are destroying our country. There are 60 million people in poverty in the U.S. under their watch, And she doesn't even talk about them. She only talks about the Kama Sutra.
Wait, technically she didn't mention Kama Sutra. Though she inferred it?
It's a part of her heritage.
She can be unburdened by what has been.
By the way, the Kama Sutra, I tried it. It's mostly bullshit. There's like 5 positions that they recreate like 54 times.
Now the term Kamala Sutra is in my head and it's not going anywhere.
That's right, Kamala Sutra. Kamala Sutra.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
She swallows gum. I'm singing that had nothing to do. That was bad time.
Who did Come a Chameleon? Who was that?
Boy George.
Oh, was it?
Culture Club.
Oh, I forgot about that. All right, look, guys. They're going to lie, and then eventually cheat. Those are the 2 plays. I expect, as we get closer to election night, it's going to be cheat. You saw what happened last time. It happened so egregiously in 2020 that for the midterms, we were banned from YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, consider subscribing there on Rumble. You get to watch for free. If you want the free show to continue, you need to join Mug Club because it doesn't continue unless enough of you support it. And by the way, between now and election, I won't be here next week, Monday through Wednesday, because I will be on the ground with our investigative journalism team, Mug Club Undercover, with some stories that, frankly, could change the election.
Yep.
I don't say that lightly. So I won't be here because I'll be on the road flying to and fro to work on that because we all sat here, we said, look, is it worth it? Is it worth the cost? Yeah. We don't want to look back and kick ourselves and say, man, we could have done this when this fell in our lap. So thank you so much for the tips that you send, and thank you so much for the Mug Club Undercover Unit who chases them down. None of it happens without you. $15 off right now. You can use the promo code Comrade Kamala, or you can just click that link. We're going to be here for every single debate, if Kamala shows up, every single town hall, every single live event, and election night. We do not leave you until it is over, because there can't be any more tricks. But we can't do it without you. We appreciate it.
Right.
We love you. And right now we are going to, before I go, one last thing to mention. We're going to go to Mug Club, do a little more fact checking, and of course, take some chats. Nick DiPaolo is going to be in the Gaza Strip, West Jordan, Utah. I tell you what, those
wise guys.
Those Mormons are, the Mormons with mortars are quite.
West Jordan.
They are quite something.
September 27th, Wise Guys, West Jordan, Utah.
The city in the country with the highest percentage of beautiful women that I've ever seen is Provo, Utah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you haven't been to Rochester.
That's right.
Or Poughkeepsie.
I haven't. Been better, have you been to Schenectady?
Those are the ones I confuse.
Yes.
They all blend in.
Poughkeepsie, Rochester, Schenectady. Wait till you go to Plattsburgh. Oh,
they're 11 degrees in September.
Everyone there is a regular Raquel Welch.
Yeah, nice cold sore on there. Limp, fucking lazy eye, one ear.
Stop it.
Syphilitic fish.
You're getting me aroused.
I don't know what the button
we love all of you, but we love Mug Club more. YouTube piss off. There is no scenario where we approve a platform that has Steven Crowder, Alex Jones, or the like. The content of your platform is non-compliant.
The same people who have been saying that YouTube is a free and open platform are telling you right now, we will not allow you to be a free and open platform. Why? Because it's not about their advertising dollars. It's about you. They demonetized us. That didn't work. Suspend us after the election stream. Suspend us for the next election. Suspend us now. That didn't work. We survived because of you. We had 17 million people who watched the election stream in 2020. You were here with us. The people in charge of 90% of the world's advertising revenue say, well, what's going on? They're doing I thought you took them off YouTube. They're doing okay off of YouTube? Let's stop that too. And all of this right before the most important election of our lifetimes. Think that's a coincidence? How are you going to stand against the mob? How are you going to fight like hell? Between now and election, it's a sprint. Not just for a national election, it's a sprint for the spirit of this country and your ability to choose what you watch, who you support, and the mere ability to speak. This season is war. What we did in 2020 is child's play compared to what we are about to do this election. We already have on the ground in major swing states and cities and what they are digging up right now before this election. And they will be there on election night with an army of volunteers and investigative journalists and more access to data in real time than anybody else on earth. Fact check him. We have a DNC chairperson to fact check, and let me lead this with he one time called Donald Trump Hitler.
Hitler was duly elected.
And then you wonder why people think you're the enemy of the people.
Yeah, the media has already got the marching orders. Anytime there's questions, go with the race thing.
Misogynoir.
Racism and sexism.
Is it just because she's black?
Yes, misogyny and racism faced by black women.
The problem is the media entertainment industrial establishment, okay? It's the big steal. It's the stealing of the election in front of the American people on every single level. Conservatives out there, hey, don't let us be the only ones getting suspended after election night.
Let's go.
On YouTube. Come on, everyone. You want to see that. You want to be here with us. There's no reason to tune in anywhere else that night. You don't need to tune in for entertainment, for up-to-the-minute calling. The election live stream of the century. Imagine dominoes falling in every state with corruption. The election live stream of the century, November 5th, 2024. Be there with us. Fight like hell.